historic day for the Red Sox. We've been through this before. 2004 was the first ever rolling rally. Now we do it again as the champions of 2007 will make their way through the city in a rolling rally. Here's what we've got covered for you on NESN today. It begins in just a couple of moments as the on-field presentation gets started, and then in about an hour at 11:30, the players will board the buses and the duck tour boats and head out into the city. A couple of surprises, no doubt, along the way. And then at noon, the actual rolling rally begins. Now, this is the parade route. It'll begin right here at Fenway Park and head off into the city. It'll be a 7-mile journey before it's all said and done, with several stops along the way as the team will stop and address the fans on hand. Now, we all remember back in 2004 just how many fans there were here. A little different this time around. It's a weekday, and we have learned a few things along the way in 2004. One of those things, they won't be heading into the water this time around. Last time it all ended on that foggy, rainy day with a little impromptu journey into the Charles. That journey will not happen this time around. So it is Rolling Rally 2, the 2007 edition. We've got live coverage for you right here on NESN, and that coverage begins right now.
Looking live at Fenway Park in Boston as the Red Sox Nation prepares to welcome home the 2007 World Champions. Welcome to Rolling Rally number 2. Hi everybody, I'm Don Orsillo along with Tom Karen and Tina Servasio. It was 3 years ago today that we were here at this very spot to start the first rolling rally. Here we are for number 2 as we get ready to celebrate the 2007 World Championship run of the Boston Red Sox.
Now, the duck boats are lined up at this time, but there will be some differences. In the middle of the duck boats, you will see a flatbed truck. Now, some of the news has been leaked, but I don't want to give away all of the secrets. Just expect a Boston band that has become iconic, along with the Red Sox, to be performing some of their original songs, and also a particular Red Sox pitcher is expected to demonstrate his other talents on that flatbed truck besides a blazing fastball.
That should be easy to figure out who that is, but before we get to all of that, let's begin our festivities by interviewing and talking to the man who came up with the concept of the rolling rally back in 2004. Not only the mayor of the city of Boston, but the city's biggest fan. Please welcome the mayor of Boston, Thomas Menino.
And the governor of the state of Massachusetts, Mr. Deval Patrick.
Thank you.
All right, let's start. Mayor Menino, let's start with you here. The whole idea of a rolling rally back in 2004, I think a lot of people scratched their heads and said, what is this all about? Now in 2007, we wouldn't have it any other way.
That's right. It's the only way to have a rally, to have the players and the fans see each other. And that's, they see them on the field, but let's up close and have a good time. And a rally doesn't work today because it becomes, people crush each other, and there's a lot of activities that we don't want to happen. It's a good, clean event, and it's a fun time. And there's thousands of kids right down at City Hall Plaza right now. It's really exciting out there.
Governor, it appears that right now the state of Massachusetts is very ready to celebrate along with his 2007 championship team.
You bet your life we are. I mean, this is a great lift for the city, for the Commonwealth. You know, I was on a radio call-in show in New Hampshire this morning, and I can tell you that Red Sox Nation extends well beyond the borders of the Commonwealth. It's great.
Excuse me, Governor Patrick. Mayor Menino, one of the neat things about it, we all remember the moments. We all remember Keith Folk and Jason Varitek in 2004 at the end of the game. This year, Jonathan Papelbon at the end. But the rolling rally, the parade, I think for a lot of people in 2004, that was sort of the image that sticks in their head, that team coming through the crushed streets of Boston.
It sure does. And, that's what it was all about 2004 afterwards. And there was an idea that we had, with Larry Lucchino and I were sitting around and said, how do we do this differently? And I said, let's try rolling rally. And it worked. And, we'll do it again this year, and then maybe we'll have a couple other championship teams we'll have to do it for.
We could get used to this.
Yeah.
Governor, so many fans know where they were and what they were doing when the Red Sox won the championship the first time. Where were you this time when it all went down?
I was at home this time, trying to deal with sleep deprivation, thanks to this team. I'll tell you, I'm delighted with the outcome, but I'm also glad that I can get back to my regular sleep patterns.
Well, certainly not alone. I mean, there are a lot of people around New England sort of stumbling around those 1 a.m. Sleep nights when you finally get to bed after these late games. What will you do today? We'll start with you, Mayor Menino. How do you enjoy this, and take me through the day for you?
Well, I'm going to be here this morning for the opening event, then we'll go watch it on Tremor Street. Just stand there like a regular fan, just to enjoy it and feel the fans, the enjoyment they're having, and it's just about being with the people. The people who really made this team what it is today. Red Sox Nation is very special. You go any ballpark in America, and you'll see in San Diego, we're out there for a ball game this year, 60% of the fans, Boston Red Sox fans. You go to Baltimore, 70% of the fans out there are Boston Red Sox. This is not just Boston, Massachusetts, New England. This is nationwide. There's something special about this organization, about this team, and about the Red Sox spirit.
Governor, I know you and the mayor, while you want fans to have a great time today, I know you both want it to be a very safe day for fans out there who are going to the parade.
I think it will be. I think the spirit is very positive. It's very unifying. Just coming in to Fenway today, just to see how positive and excited the kids are. I spoke with Governor Ritter from Colorado, to the mayor's point earlier, just yesterday, to tell him I was looking for my beef. What we bet on.
I'm getting submarine sandwiches.
And he told me.
We got to talk about that.
He told, you gotta stick with me. He told me that the presence of Boston fans out in Denver was huge. And to the mayor's point, this is a national occasion, and it's a great one to have focused in a very positive way right here in Boston.
Well, gentlemen, enjoy the day. It's going to be a great day. We got better weather this time around, don't we? It's a little nicer than 2004. Ladies and gentlemen, a big hand. Governor Deval Patrick, Mayor Tom Menino.
Great to see you, Tom. Thank you.
See you soon, Mayor. Thank you.
Do a good job there.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you. Coming up next to our stage, we're going to have so many guests today, but these gentlemen are such a big part of what has taken place here in Red Sox Nation. They've done some amazing things since arriving to take this team to the postseason 4 times, 2 world championships, and of course the many improvements of Fenway Park. They've created an atmosphere in the stands and in the community and is ready and set to all-time sellout records this coming September. Quite a resume. And here with us today, Chairman of the Boston Red Sox, CEO and President of the Boston Red Sox as well, Tom Werner, Larry Lucchino. Great to see you both. Come on in here, guys.
Hi, Tom. How are you? Hi, how are you, Tom?
Larry, I will start with you, and it was what I basically asked you right after the championship. How does this rank up there for you between the two? I know they're both special and both different.
They're sort of different flavors of ice cream, but they both taste good. It's hard to choose among them, and I think the next one's going to taste as good too.
Sounds good. Tom, since you guys took over the team, there's just been such a difference, obviously, breaking the curse in 2004. Describe the energy of the fans of Red Sox Nation and also everything that surrounds this ball club now compared to when you first bought the team.
Well, I can't say enough remarkable things about it. We have the best fans, not just in baseball, but all of sports, and they have been with us every step of the way, and this day is for them to see these players and to thank the players, and I know the players will be thanking our fans, and maybe we'll see John Papelbon do another dance by the end of the day.
Larry, there are so many contributors to this. I know people look, of course, to the people who have their hands on it immediately, but there are so many from the baseball ops, the marketing, the entire organization.
Well, it is there is a team behind the team, but today is a day that belongs to the band of brothers in uniform, the players who are out there accomplishing this day in, day out. People, I think, underestimate the grind that the baseball season can be, but these players kept a certain poise and resilience and confidence up through a long season. So today's a day of great celebration for them, but we are going to have the entire front office, every person who works for the Red Sox front office will be in this parade today, getting some of the excitement and joy that they deserve too for working so hard.
Tom, in 2004, we all remember the snapshot, the moment of Jason Varitek being hoisted up in Keith Foulke's arms. Is there a moment, a snapshot that stands out in your mind of the 2007 championship?
I think that what will always stay with me is the first moment of 2004 after we won. John and Larry and I hugged each other, and we thought it was a miracle. And we were all seating next to each other in 2007. I didn't even remember what was going on in the field because I was just so overjoyed that we'd come back and did this. Actually, as John said, in 3 years in one day, because it's just been 3 years in one day since it happened in 2004.
Larry, I'll ask you the same question. I'm sorry, Tina.
Boy, on the field, there were so many memorable moments. I mean, the Mother's Day miracle, we thought maybe there was something special that could happen this year, but there weren't that many comeback moments during the course of this year. It was just a solid, consistent, professional performance. Boy, I can't identify one when it all came together. I can't remember the low, though, which was in Cleveland when we felt a certain sense of almost humiliation because of where we were. But the players remained confident and upbeat. So it was, I remember very vividly the dark moment, and I think we need to remember this was also a great comeback, like 04. This was also a comeback from down 3-1 when Cleveland was celebrating. I mean, they had the bands lined up, they had the champagne on ice, they thought this was over. All we wanted to do was get back to Boston. And I think maybe the moment was the very manly performance by Josh Beckett on Thursday in Cleveland. That's the sixth out in my mind.
You know, and one thing I'd like to do is I'd like to compliment Terry, too, because he had such an even, steady hand. And I know it's not easy to win in Boston, and we did go through some ups and downs in this season, and his calm presence and his leadership was so evident. And I know, as Larry said, this is for the players today, but we've got a remarkable manager, and he is, in my opinion, the manager of the year.
Larry, what happened in 2004, too, is happening again this time. The Red Sox, of course, winning the championship on the road. They did it here again, and I guess this is your way now to get back here to New England and celebrate with the fans.
Well, there's real meaning to home field advantage. I've been in baseball for a long time. I've never realized how much it means because for many years wasn't fortunate enough to have a home like Boston and Fenway Park. And I know what it means, and I know what it means to our fans. So being here, celebrating with them, is obviously an important part of this. The celebration wouldn't be complete without coming back home, celebrating with the fans, and today is meant to be the beginning of that celebration. Let's hope it goes on for several weeks and months this off season.
Gentlemen, we thank you both and congratulations.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
See you later. If the owners of John Henry, Larry Lucchino, and Tom Werner are the stewards that back this team and created a new energy in Red Sox Nation that surrounds this ball club, well, there are several leaders as well that have used their backing and their baseball expertise and knowledge, and they have put it to work and earned this ball club 2 World Series trophies. Of course, we know the amazing baseball brain of General Manager Theo Epstein, but right now I'm going to introduce to you the man that has managed this ball club to 2 championships. He is here right now, 8-0 in World Series play. Your manager, Terry Francona.
Tito, I'll start. Does this ever get old?
Oh my goodness, no, it's awesome, and the actual, probably the best part for me is living through it. Once we get to the playoffs and the World Series and going through with people that you really care about is just fabulous. I hope we can do this again.
We had some shots. I think it was the night you clinched the American League East, and you've talked about it a couple of steps along the way. We had a shot on camera that night after that strange ending with the Yankees game when you guys had officially clinched it, and you were just sort of sitting, taking it all in. And you've talked about that, the enjoyment you get watching the men around you celebrate what you've accomplished.
Yeah, I mean, going through it with the staff and some of the people that you're closest to in the whole world, the feeling there is unbelievable. And then watching the players' emotions pour out they've given so much. And even on a team that wins 96 games, there's a lot of frustration. And how you handle that frustration is so important. And then to ultimately watch them celebrate together, I get the biggest kick out of it. So rewarding just to sit back and watch. I love it.
Terry, this is the second championship for you. Take us into the dugout. Take the fans in there. 2 outs, 2 strikes against Seth Smith. One more pitch could change a game. Take us to what you're feeling, what you're talking about with Brad Mills, who was right next to you. Let us know what was going through your mind when that moment did come and you guys were world champions.
When Jamie Carroll hit that line drive to left field, you don't want to know what was going through our minds. We had used Okajima so much, and Pap's out there. That wasn't a good feeling. But it's hard to describe. Your heart is in your throat, but I wouldn't exchange that feeling for anything in the world. We have a lot of faith in our guys. To see Pap out there, even though you're asking them to do a lot, they can do it, and it is a good feeling.
Terry, we heard the comment before. They're like different flavors of ice cream, I think someone said. 2004, 2007. You love them both. 04 was so improbable. The comeback from 3-0 and the end of 86 years without a championship. That was for generations, I think, of men who wore the uniform, of fans who rooted for the team. This is more, it seems, about baseball. A team that jumped into first in the first month of the season and really ran wire to wire. That has to be, for a lifetime baseball man, especially enjoyable.
I don't know that you can compare. Everybody keeps asking, compare 04 and 07, and I don't even know if it's fair. I mean, 04 was 86 years and everything that went along with it, and it was some personalities that'll never be forgotten. And this year is no less special, though, for anybody affiliated with the Red Sox. But it is different, and it's probably supposed to be, but that's okay.
We heard Tom Warner use the word fluke, that winning another one so quickly shows that was no fluke, that this is an organization that has put together, from the top down, an organization that will try to contend every year.
I don't think that whether you win 1 or 5 or 100, it can ever be a fluke, and I don't know that I really care if it was, because we won. But to do it again, I think Theo said it best. We try to put ourselves in a position where you have a chance to win. And if you do that enough, hopefully you can come away with a few, because it's so hard. You got to be a little bit fortunate, and then you got to be good enough to take advantage of that good fortune. And we did that.
Terry, this year, the Red Sox were officially crowned America's team, even though Red Sox fans knew they were America's team long before. But we saw fans, and you saw fans travel coast to coast to watch this ball club and drown out those home crowds in places like Cleveland, Arizona, San Diego. Looking back to 04, you went through the Rolling Rally. What are you looking forward to most, being right there up to the fans? And you don't have to manage a baseball team now. You get to enjoy this with the fans.
Yeah, I think it's cool as long as they stay out of the lobby. It's okay. You know what? This is really a neat thing, because the pressure of the games is over, and we can sit back and enjoy and watch people. We saw our players, the emotions come out. Now we'll get to see the fans, and it can get intermixed with the players and the organization, and it's really special.
We're looking forward to it. Terry, congratulations. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you.
Enjoy it. All right, you can see the love between Terry and Don Orsillo. It's a special thing between
one of the best punches in all the game, Terry Francona.
Does that make you one of the best punch takers? I don't know if that's a good thing. Well, we go ahead.
Good. One of the most exciting parts of the 2007 season, without question, has been the year that this year's World Series MVP had Mike Lowell. Michael, you've had a lot of great years. You've had a championship before, but this has been pretty incredible. And I know for you this season, it started right out of the get-go. But tell us a little bit about what your emotions were like to win a world championship here in Boston.
It was amazing. But I think we get so wrapped up in just each inning, each pitch, that you don't really want to let yourself think ahead of time. But it's almost impossible. When we went out there in the 9th inning and we had Pap on the mound, and you're like, we're 3 outs away. And then the first one was just a ground ball to Petey. We held our breath a little with the ball Jamie Carroll hit, but once Ellsbury made that play, we were just like, once he had 2 strikes, I was like, there's no way we could be down to the last strike and we're not going to finish this. So I think it's just this unbelievable feeling of
of joy, relief, and just ready to celebrate once we got that last strikeout.
Mike, take us
take us back to Cleveland. In Cleveland, obviously, down 3-1. We heard about the meeting. Everyone got together and said, you know what? Some of the guys on this team had been back from 3-0, so they'd been through this. Tell us what was said and take us through those 3 games as you had to fight off elimination every night.
Well, the meeting was actually after 2-1, so we didn't do too good of a job that day. But the gist of the meeting was that we got to leave it all out on the field. Whether this is our last game or not, we got to play the way we're capable of playing. I think we did a great job of just focusing on Game 5. Because I think if you get wrapped up and you got to win 3 in a row, and not only do you have to win 5, but 6 and 7, I think you're almost distracting yourself. So I think we did a great job, and it helped that we had Josh on the mound, as solid as ever in Game 5. So I think our first goal was to get it back to Boston. Once we did that, we felt like, okay, we'll have a different energy. The buzz will be on our side, with the whole crowd. But I think we did a good job focusing on Game 6. Once we won Game 6, we said there's no way we could come this far and not win it. So, after winning Game 7, we just felt like we had all sorts of momentum going into the series, and we proved that it held pretty true.
Every time there's a championship, people always say, well, there's so many contributors that did it. Sometimes there are, sometimes there aren't. But truly in this situation, there was. You think about it in the end that Bobby Kelty ends up with the home run that wins it all. I mean, you were also part of that. I mean, there were so many different parts of this team. I guess so many people involved. This is for everybody.
For everyone on the team and everyone in the city and Red Sox Nation. You look up and down. I think what stands out in the division series was David and Manny. Big home runs, and they kind of carried us. Josh obviously pitching well. But in this World Series, it was Els and Pedroia getting on base. It was you having big hits in the 2 home games. It was our bullpen doing a great job. We needed to have great starting pitching. We swung the bats pretty well. So it was collectively from top to bottom. Everyone did their part, and I think that's what makes it even more special. That everyone truly feels like they had a major piece in bringing this title to Boston.
Mike, as we let you go here, I'll give you one chance to just say hi to the fans here and watching on TV and what these fans have meant to you.
Just a sincere thank you to everyone here and everyone that's supported us all year. I mean, I've been spoiled these last 2 years playing in front of this crowd, and we're truly blessed. They make us feel like the most privileged athletes out here.
Enjoy the day. Mike Lowell, World Series MVP, third baseman of your Boston Red Sox. All right, Don, Tina, I'll let you guys take over. I'm heading back to the studio.
Where are you going?
I'm heading back to work while you guys go wave to the crowds on the duck boat. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Tom.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Josh Beckett.
We're out here celebrating right now, but I remember back in Cleveland when this ball club was down 3-1, how nervous all of the Red Sox fans were. But at that moment, the 2007 season was rested on one man's shoulder. And no matter the circumstance, no matter the pressure, the Red Sox ace got it done. Everyone, let's hear it again for Josh Beckett.
Thanks for doing that.
Hey, Josh, you were the World Series MVP in 2003, and up here, your teammate at that time, Mike Lowell, he earned the World Series MVP in Game 4 for you guys for the Red Sox. What are your thoughts on his contributions and how nice that was for him to get that award?
Well, I think I think it was kind of fitting because I actually asked David Ortiz this if he was going to get mad at me when we did our voting for the team MVP if I gave it to Mike Lowell, and he said no, absolutely not. He said he thought that he was the MVP, and it was kind of fitting that at the end he ended up being the World Series MVP. And I mean, the things that he's done, to help me in my career, and the things he's done behind me, and hitting and stuff like that. It's just, I mean, he's awesome, and he's a professional on and off the field.
Josh, it seems during the course of the year that you were in a zone all year long, kind of locked in. But when you got to the postseason, again, you seem to bring it to another level. How do you get yourself into that mindset? And it seemed to be not just in the days you pitched, but on the other days as well.
You just got to make it as simple as possible and go out and just execute pitches, and believe in the stuff that you do in between starts. And like I said, create that atmosphere that's the only thing that you have to worry about, and that makes it as simple as possible.
So Josh, how did you celebrate after the World Series in Game 4?
Had a few beers. I don't know. We had some fun that night, and then I didn't get much sleep, and I slept a lot yesterday, so it was good.
This is a very unique parade for a World Series team. What are your thoughts now on being able to go out there on the streets of Boston in these iconic duck boats and be able to be right there with the fans that are both congratulating you and thanking you?
Well, I think it's great. I mean, it's just like us. We're out here every day, busting our hump, trying to get these things done, this season and everything like that. And they're out here every day too, supporting us. So it's great to go back and give back to them.
Certainly with the 04 team, and I know you weren't a part of that, but the resiliency was a key for them. You guys got down in this series against the Cleveland Indians. What was it that brought you guys back, and was it ever in doubt for you or any of your teammates?
I think you just have to look at it like, you got to go out and win one game. You win game 5, and then you win game 6, and then you win game 7. You can't look at it as you're down 3-1. You got to win 3 games. We've been on a lot of 3-game winning streaks this year, so it wasn't really anything new to us. We just had to go out and whether it was pitching or hitting, we had to execute our game plan.
Congratulations on an incredible season. Good luck today.
Thanks, Josh. Ladies and gentlemen, joining us now, the man that has basically changed the history of the Boston Red Sox, owner John Henry. That's right. We're going to actually, let's go back. What John just mentioned to me, once the owner of the Florida Marlins, and how about that now? 3 guys in a row from the Marlins. We saw Mike Lowell, Josh Beckett, and now John Henry. I mean, how unique is that path? And it really did start back when you knew those 2 ball players.
It did. It was my first year in baseball as an owner was 1999. Mike Lowell was the first trade and was a rookie that year. First draft pick was Josh Beckett. So. And here we are. It's just almost as unbelievable as winning 2 championships this quickly.
John, 2004 was an incredible year for so many reasons, 86 years of waiting, and this was certainly different, but I know it does not get old for you. I mean, this is something you could do every year, I'm sure.
Well, it's something we try to do every year, but it's so hard to win a World Series, and 29 teams every year are going to come in, do everything they can to win a World Series, and end up being disappointed. So there's no way this could ever get old. This is the culmination of a lot of work, a lot of effort by so many people. That's what makes it so satisfying.
John, we saw the way that the rookies performed on the biggest stage in baseball, of course, the World Series stage. Kids like Dustin Pedroia, Jacoby Ellsbury, also young players like John Lester. How much do you think that has to do with the fact that they have to play here at Fenway Park with the most knowledgeable fans in baseball, and they're expected to win every game? How do you think that carried over to the biggest stage?
Well, there's no doubt about it. And also, I think what carries over is this sort of, I don't know, this tradition or this feeling inside the clubhouse that began here, I think started in 2003. But definitely the game is changing, and younger players across, not just here, but everywhere, are having more of an impact than they were a few years ago. Rookies are coming in and being impact players, but boy, we had some of the biggest impacts this year from those guys.
John, back in 2004 when the team landed, it was quite a scene coming back on the bus from the airport here, and it was much the same yesterday. It had to be a lot of fun for you guys.
It was. It really brought back memories of 2004. I remember that coming back in the morning after the Aaron Boone home run and thinking how the streets should be filled, and that was so tough. So to come back the following year and win, and then to have it repeated again this year was just incredibly satisfying. The fact that what we do matters so much to so many people, I think that's what causes us to work so hard to try to bring something like this about.
John, I want to ask you about Terry Francona too quickly. I know he's been very special to you and to the entire organization over the last couple of years, but he's undefeated right now in World Series play, 8-0.
He's, there's a lot of second guessing that goes on with every manager in baseball, and he gets his share because we have such knowledgeable fans, but he's done a tremendous job. Day in and day out, all the things that are done behind the scenes that you don't see. A lot of the decisions that are made in the heat of the battle are difficult to make, but he makes them with more knowledge than any of us who are watching the game. So while we love to second guess, he's really done a fabulous job for this organization.
John Henry, congratulations.
Thanks.
John, thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, the fans on Yawkey Way getting ready for the Rolling Rally to commence here from Fenway Park, which will for the second time in 4 years.
Well, when it comes to our next guest, everyone, take a look at the last 4 years. He comes to Boston on a mission to help erase the curse. He said he came to Boston to win a World Series championship and beat the Yankees, and look what he's done, 2 World Series championship. Everyone, Curt Schilling.
Curt, I'll start it off for you, a guy who was part of the 04 team. How much different was this for you guys? And I know they're each separately special.
Well, exactly. They're like kids. They're special for their own reasons, and this was every bit as special as the last one, given who did it, how we did it, and when we did it.
Curt, in 2004, there's a moment captured on film of you saying, "This is the best team in Boston Red Sox history." What are your thoughts on the 2017?
Tie.
And I have to point out the shirt.
Curt, you mentioned at the time I talked to you right after it happened, there were so many important people for you that got you where you are and have been with you all year long. I don't know if you want to say something about some of those people once again.
Yeah, I mean, there's a litany of people in this organization that don't wear a uniform, and guys that do wear a uniform that don't get a lot of hype. John Farrell, obviously, best pitching coach I ever had. I'm convincing him that Pittsburgh is a horrible place to live. Billy Broadbent, our video guy, who puts in more hours in than anybody in this organization to help us. Our clubhouse guys, Pookie, Luke, all those guys who make this family what it is. And then our trainers, Paul Lassard, Mike Reinhold, all those guys, Russell Nua, guys, they're the family. They're the family we travel with, that we live with 8 months a year. And our advanced scouts, who did an incredible job in 04 and probably as good, if not better job this year. Those are the guys that when you see us smiling and hugging each other, we're every bit as excited, if not more so, for guys like that put the time and the effort that they put into this for us to win this thing.
Curt, when you're looking back at this magical postseason this year, is there any particular moment or memory you have that really stands out?
Yeah, you know what? Game 1 in Anaheim, Josh Beckett, pretty much, I think, setting the tone for the postseason for us, and stepping up, if possible, stepping up into a little bit higher pantheon of superstardom and establishing himself as probably the best pitcher in the game right now. And we fed off that. Game 5 in the Cleveland series, he made it clear to them they weren't gonna take us without a huge fight. And then I think we just kind of fed off of that. And going in the World Series, he did the same thing. He set the tone every series, and then you had Oki and Timlin and Del Carmen and Lopez and Paps at the end. And when David and Manny were crushing the ball early in the postseason, everybody wondered how we were going to do it with just those two guys. And then Dustin, Jacoby, and all the guys, and Mikey Lowell, all the way through the postseason, all the way through the regular season. It was so many different people, all the way up to Bobby Kelty hitting the home run that basically won the World Series for us.
As a guy who's very aware of history and historical events as you are, and that's a great tribute to you. And but looking at this situation here now, twice in Boston, what that really means in the whole scope of things.
Well, you know what? This is the new Red Sox. This is not and I don't say that badly. It's not your grandfather's Red Sox anymore. This front office is committed to doing things that they've done. I think we've laid a foundation to be, if it's possible, to be a potential dynasty and be in the World Series every year that we possibly can, because the core talent, the foundation of talent in this organization is unbelievable. And there's a lot of guys that are on the way that are every bit as talented as some of the guys that are here. And when you mix that with the Mannies and the Wakefields and the Timlins, and you bring that veteran presence of Jason Varitek to the young talent that we have, there's no reason we can't contend every year.
Curt, now that you've become such an integral part of Red Sox history, I have to ask you in front of the fans, because I know they're all wondering, what do you hope for the future for yourself?
Well, I would like to come back, play one more year as a Boston Red Sox, and then retire.
Great way to end. Curt Schilling, congratulations.
Thank you, Curt.
Well, as Curt departs, we take a look at the duck boats that are getting ready to take off from Fenway Park as we get ready for the Rolling Rally Part 2. From Fenway Park is where it begins.
We have a very special guest, ladies and gentlemen, Speaker of the House of Massachusetts, Mr. Sal DeMacy.
Right.
Mr. Speaker, thank you.
How about them Red Sox? Red Sox, all right.
Mr. Speaker, where were you when the Red Sox had that final out and won the World Series?
I was about 2 inches from my TV set, and I jumped up just like Papelbon did at the same time, I guess. I was excited, everybody here in Boston.
I was bred here in Boston, and I've been a Red Sox fan my entire life. And on behalf of all those Red Sox fans for many, many years, I want to congratulate the Red Sox and their organization for a great victory here in the World Series, and we're going to do it again next year.
How much different was it for you? I know for fans now, you got 2 championships here quick. How was this one for you?
Well, this one felt right. I mean, the others, we were worried about the curse, everybody. We overcame the curse, and once we did, we knew we were going to be victorious again. This is a winning team, a winning organization. We're getting used to winning. And everybody here, do we like winning more? We like winning.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank
Enjoy
you.
the rally.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are now taking a live look at our shots from the beautiful blimp over the skies. We're looking at Fenway Park right now as all of Red Sox Nation is preparing for Rolling Rally 2.
Today's amazing overhead pictures provided by DirecTV HD Starship, now broadcasting over 70 channels in HD.
Late.
Mayor Menino is coming back with a very special guest. It's the World Championship trophy. Well, in just a few moments, the trophy will be part of the parade. These players are going to climb aboard the duck boats. Now, with the best vantage point to see your heroes, they'll come out onto Boylston and head east, moving slowly, reading your signs and talking with you with microphones on many of the duck boats. The procession will move up Boylston to Copley Square. They'll pause for a moment, perhaps hear from the Boston band now that has 2 anthems here at Fenway Park. Tessie, which of course helped us win the 2004 World Championship, and shipping off to Boston as the Dropkick Murphys will be along as part of the parade.
So, of course, look for Papelbon and the drop kicks on the big flatbed truck, and that'll be right around Copley Square. And then the parade will continue to the Boston Common on the Boylston side and all along the Tremont side. And again, we hope to hear from the drop kicks at that point as well, and once more when the rolling rally does pass City Hall. So a couple of performances along the route. Now, a little bit different from 2004, the duck boats will not venture onto the Charles River, and that is for safety precautions. The Ducks, however, will then whisk the team back to Fenway Park after City Hall. So that's pretty much the end of the route.
Tina, you were able to cover some of the stuff going on inside the clubhouse. I was outside the clubhouse, but if you could explain a little bit about what it was like inside the clubhouse right after the championship.
There was still so much elation, and the guys were celebrating for a few more. They got at least 15 minutes to just celebrate on their own before all the TV cameras and reporters came in, and there was a lot of emotion. I mean, even Jason Varitek said, I was really emotional a few minutes ago. We kind of got it under control, and a great sight was watching Mike Timlin hug that World Series trophy. Now, that's the 4th time Timlin has won a World Series, and he was just talking about how special it was and how special this ball club was and how unique. Everyone is just as great as they are ball players on the field. They're great men off the field.
Well, one of the things that we had after the game and many of the interviews we had was a situation where I was talking with, at the time, Tim Wakefield. And Mike Timlin kind of stepped in and said on behalf of the team that they had done this for Tim Wakefield because, of course, he was off the roster. And Tim Wakefield, the elder statesman of the Red Sox, been such a big part of the organization. Extremely tough for him not to be part of the postseason setup in it and in the World Series.
It absolutely was. And we know that Tim was dealing with inflammation in his shoulder, obviously a baseball injury. And he was the one that went to the manager and he said, said, I don't think it's worth it. I don't want to risk this championship and risk the fact that 24 other guys are working so hard to earn this trophy. I think that takes a lot of courage and just really shows the kind of man that Tim Wakefield is. And it also opened the opportunity for John Lester to pitch Game 4. And if anyone didn't shed a tear with John Lester earning that victory in Game 4 after all that he went through this year, and that was just a tremendous moment.
Coming up next here on the stage, a gentleman who was such a big part of the Red Sox, the 2004 World Championship, and arguably the greatest clutch hitter in Red Sox history. Please welcome Mr. Big Papi, David Ortiz.
And along with Big Papi is Little Papi, that is D'Angelo Ortiz. And Big Papi's Papi. Hi, Dave. How are you, Dave? What's up? Want to say hi to the fans?
David, this has been very special for you the entire run, I know, but coming back here to share it with the fans got to be very special as well. Winning it on the road and coming back here to enjoy the Rolling Rally.
It's been great, man. I mean, these people, they deserve this. They support us all year round, and that's why we try our best every day. See if we can look forward to get one of these per year.
Per year. David, after the game, after Game 4, Tom Werner told me, and a lot of players were talking about a team meeting back in Cleveland when you guys were down 2-1. They said that you called that meeting. What did you say to this team to turn things around?
Well, I pretty much told everybody we need to take things personal. When we playing out there, you can look back and think about the guy behind you. You're going to get things done. I told everybody, hey, when you wear the Red Sox on your chest, you're good at something, so keep it up.
All right. Those were the magic words.
David, I know you know how special Red Sox Nation is. I mean, how you go on the road and there are so many of the Red Sox fans there. To come back here and be in the Rolling Rally in 2004, what that was like for you. Tell us a little bit what you expect today.
Well, let me tell you, I remember this year we were playing at Baltimore, and Kirby Mora, by the way, we need to give Kirby Mora a round of applause because he bring the Yankees down for us to make it to win the division. So he told me, man, you guys here at Baltimore, and it feel like we playing at Fenway because all the fans always supporting you guys. So I tell you, another guy asked me, hey, when you guys gonna end up winning the World Series at Fenway? I told him, dude, it doesn't matter what you win it as long as you win it. So.
I have a question for little D'Angelo. D'Angelo, what did you do when the Red Sox won the World Series?
Daddy was watching the game.
Yeah.
Good job.
You gonna play for the Red Sox someday? Yes.
David, it seemed right from spring training you guys had a buzz about the team that really felt like this was the World Championship team. I mean, it seemed that way all season long that you guys were going to be the champions.
Well, everybody have us at their favor, and I tell you, everybody put it together here. We hold on tight. You know, we have a lot of up and down through the season, but everybody learn how to deal with the up and downs, and everybody learn how hard it is to win the division, how hard it is to stay at first place. So everybody take care of themselves pretty good, and our manager, our coaching staff, our front office, everybody did a great job getting along with everybody and letting us know that whatever we need and any kind of situation that we walk into it, they were gonna be there for us, and that was it.
David, obviously not a lot of sleep after Game 4, but the team flew back together. What was it like for you being on the bus and on the plane, especially when that bus pulled up to Fenway Park and there were thousands of fans just waiting to see you guys?
Well, it was great. I mean, the only bad things was on the airplane. Papa Bone was throwing up all over the place.
Too much information.
But everything else was fine. I mean, after you win and you bring one of this one home, everything is cool. I mean, everybody was hanging out with us at the hotel, after we won, and it was really good.
Did Paps have the flu? He wasn't feeling well?
Yeah. Whatever.
He was shivering on the field with all that champagne, of course.
David, how are you health-wise? I guess you're getting ready to relax here for the next couple months and just take some time off more than anything else, I'm sure, to rest.
Well, definitely. I must see if I can get surgery on my knee on Monday, get ready for next year, and get it going. Try to get another one of this.
All right, David.
Congratulations, David. Thank you. Bye, Dave.
One more time for David Ortiz and D'Angelo.
Go, Dave.
Well, we get ready for the second rolling rally here in Boston as the duck boats prepare outside Fenway Park, getting ready to begin the parade. And again, one difference this year, there will be no water at the end of the parade.
Yeah, they're just safety reasons, but I'll tell you what is different that's going to be awesome. Again, that flatbed truck, everybody. Look for it. Dropkick Murphys and Jonathan Papelbon. You never know what can happen on that flatbed truck.
Coming up next, the captain of the Boston Red Sox. Please welcome to the stage, Jason Varitek.
Jason, when you first came to this ball club, there was a different atmosphere around the team. You sort of were carrying the burden of not winning a World Series in so many years. You broke that curse with the 2004 team. What does it mean to wear a Boston Red Sox uniform now?
We're in a total different place, and like you said, than when we started. You know, all the burden that all the previous players had to play with and stuff, and the longer you played here, the bigger that burden became. The burden of that, you know, something's going to happen to somebody in Red Sox Nation. They're going to get their hearts broken some way, somehow. Once you're able to break through that, it's built a whole different level of confidence in Red Sox Nation.
Jason, the way it ended, too, to have John Lester kind of wrap it up, it seemed kind of storybook the way it all finished out.
Yeah. You know, his storylines, you know, when you're in that high level of competition, you don't really forget about it, but you know, John has worked his way back to being a pitcher, and you forget about it. But after the game, couldn't really forget about it, because in the hallway and seeing him greet his family, and that kind of put everything about the season and everything else quite into perspective.
You're hugging that thing like a baby. And you had...
You're a baby.
And of course you've earned it in 2004, but Jason, how is this one different? What does this one mean to you?
I think 04 was almost too surreal that you didn't quite wake up and realize what we finally had just done. The burden was really heavy to get it done here. And this was a lot more work. This had a lot of work. I think there wasn't too many guys in this team that didn't run into a rough spot this year or have some sort of struggle or start off bad, and you know, start good. Everybody had different things to deal with. That year we were just really good in 04. We could really pound the baseball, and once our pitching fell into place, we were dominant.
As captain, you have so many great teammates around and things you got to worry about, but it seems there's no better teammate than Tim Wakefield, who actually kind of took himself off the World Series roster.
That's such a tough one. It's a tough one for us to bite, because he was almost a 20-game winner for us, and probably could have been. You know, not to have him out there was, you know, it kind of widened your eyes a little bit and said, uh-oh. But we're fortunate to have John step in. But without Wake being smart and saying, listen, I don't know, I'm not recovering the way I need to and to be ready. I can't put this team in jeopardy. To do that on that stage, that's so hard.
Ladies and gentlemen, the captain, Jason Varitek.
Congratulations, Jason.
The duck boats lined up on Yawkey Way, ready to go for the rolling rally. As the crowd turns to Uke, so do we. Kevin Youkilis in the house. Congratulations.
Kevin, in 2004, it was a little different for you. You were part of the team. You watched it all happen. This is a ball club that you contributed to day in and day out. Looking back at the whole season and the magical postseason, how sweet is it to hold that trophy in your hand?
This is great. This is the first time I've held it. I've held it all. I've been waiting to hold it for about 2 days now. But it's great. It's it's a great feeling. I'll tell you what, 2004 seems like it was just yesterday, but to have 2 World Series in 4 years, I mean, this is so special for us, and we're so excited. And it was a great year because I actually got to play, and I'll tell you what, it was awesome. But this team was, we stuck together as a whole, and we proved to everyone that, from day one on, that we were the best team in baseball.
I want to ask you about your thought process. You guys got down 3-1 after dominating. Your thoughts on where you guys were at that point and what it took to get out of that hole?
We knew we just had to play each and every day for the day. I think the biggest thing, you can't win. Sometimes when you go to bat and you're down 3 runs and you can't hit a 3-run homer if there's no one on base. So you have to take the same mindset. You have to win for the day, and I think we went out there and we got on top and we let Josh Beckett handle it, and then we went on from there after that game, and lo and behold, we're sitting here today, World Series champions, just because we played for the day and not try to do too much.
I asked Curt Schilling this earlier. Kevin, is there a particular moment in this postseason that just stands out to you, your favorite memory moment that really captures what this was all about?
I'll tell you what that Game 7 of the ALCS, I think hopefully it's not ALCS to come. We don't have to always go get Game 7. Maybe we can try to get a sweep or something like that one of these times. But just to know that we're in Fenway Park and to come back from 3-1, and it's huge. It's just an unbelievable feeling just to know that you accomplished one of the toughest feats in all of sports to do, is to come back and we did it. And that was the greatest thing about it, is we stuck together and we played hard every day, and all this hard work. I mean, it's a long season. I think a lot of people don't realize that our season kind of starts up in 2 months again, because we have to start working out, and it's a lot of hard work that we put in, and this is the whole goal the whole year, is to win this.
Kevin, it's got to be pretty special for you, not only here at Fenway Park, to go across the country as well, to here at Uke, wherever you go and whatever stadium you're in. That's got to be a pretty special feeling.
It's definitely an unbelievable feeling. It's great to know that you have fans that really support you and love you and really care about you, and it's thank you. It's an everyday, it's a grind every day to come to the field, but when you have the Red Sox fans coming every day and supporting you and have the adrenaline rush at the field, it's unbelievable. And you can't say much more about these fans. They come out every day and support us from the West Coast all the way here to the East Coast, and it's great.
Kevin Youkilis, congratulations. Thanks for joining us.
Congrats.
Okay, we're about to have a special presentation here for the first time ever. We're going to combine the 2004 trophy with the 2007 trophy.
It's the first time they've been together.
First time they've ever been together.
Witnessing history right now, folks.
I'll get out of the way.
The first time together on the same stage.
07 and 04 right there.
Thank you, gentlemen, and hopefully there'll be another one next year. We've referred to him a couple of times here this afternoon, and we will refer to him again, but this time he'll be coming up here as the elder statesman of the Boston Red Sox, a guy who's been here through a lot of the tough times and didn't have these many trophies in the past, and has been a very big part of the Red Sox over the last few years. Had an incredible regular season And unfortunately not on the roster for the World Series. Welcome, Tim Wakefield. Wake, I know how tough this was for you. I mean, this was kind of the ultimate sacrifice as a professional to do this, but it had to be a very tough decision, but fun to be a part of.
It was a tough decision, but I think it was the right decision. It's unfortunate because, and I said this in my press conference, as athletes, this is the ultimate stage to compete on. You've worked your whole life to get to this point. You've busted your tail all winter, all through spring training to get to that point, and unfortunately, it wasn't my time. And I just I tried to grind it out as much as I could, and when it got to the World Series, I just couldn't get it done.
Tim, with that, you opened up a spot for John Lester to start in Game 4, and you even said to Gordon Eads of the Boston Globe that maybe this will be Lester's time now. What was it like for you to watch him on the mound?
I was just real excited, because of my faith, I believe things happen for a reason, and my injury, I think, is happening for a reason, and I really felt like it was time for John Lester to shine on the ultimate stage, and to sit there and watch John Lester pitch in Game 4, I just brought smiles to my face, and to know what he's been through over the last year and a half, battling cancer, coming back, being in the minor leagues to get his strength back, and to be able to do what he did in Game 4, or the deciding game of the World Series, is truly incredible.
I know your teammates mean a great deal to you, and Mike Timlin kind of stepped up the other night, right in the middle of our interview, in fact, and told everybody what he thought of you, but certainly a very special moment.
It is special to, you do things and not realize that you're appreciated, like Mike had said, and it means a lot to me to hear that from my teammates.
And also one of your teammates earlier, Jason Varitek, said, you got this ball club to the World Series, almost a 20-game winner. How much elation is there to just look at the overall season and what this team has been able to accomplish?
My personal stats doesn't mean anything. We won the World Series. That's all that mattered to me. To try to get there as the best as we could, and we did a great job being down 3-1 and making a comeback like we did. Josh Beckett was unbelievable. Mike Lowell was unbelievable. Tech was unbelievable. Schill was great. It took all 25 of us to win the World Series, and I think we showed that by everything that happened.
As one of the guys who was part of both, I know this was a very different experience, but what were some of the differences, you think, between the two teams, the 04 and the 07 teams?
No, I got asked that question that night we won, and I see a lot of similarities between the two teams. The only difference that I see is we got a lot of younger guys that will be around for a long time, and hopefully we can be as dominant as we were this year for a long time. But the organization did such a great job of filling the holes, learning from the experience of 04 and filling those holes with the right kind of people, with the right character, to try to maintain the same chemistry that we had in 04, and it worked.
Wake, enjoy the parade.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Tim.
Thanks. Thank you.
Up next, Red Sox second baseman Dustin Pedroia.
Dustin, your first year here, your full rookie year, you played every game out here, all the sweat, all the work. We talked about how, from spring training, it's a long season. You look out there, go back to Game 4, you're looking out at all the Red Sox fans. How are you able to take this in? What does all of that mean to you as they're cheering for you?
It's awesome. I'm so excited for everybody, and it's been an unbelievable season, and this day is for everybody. It's been so much fun all year long.
I mentioned this afterwards. You never appeared to be in awe at any time during any situation. How'd you block off the fact that it was the World Series and kind of just pretend it's another game?
I didn't want to go home losing, knowing, we left something out there on the table. So, obviously I was nervous the first couple games, but, after that, I didn't really care. I just wanted, to try so hard and win this for all my teammates in the city.
We talked to David Ortiz earlier about the team meeting in Cleveland and what he said to the team. Did any of the veterans say anything to you, give you advice? Did you go to any of them? And what was that process like while you were out there in the postseason?
When we were down 3-1, obviously there was a sense of urgency to play good, and win. So once we got down 3-1, we won that game in Cleveland, came back home, and it seemed like we were a different team. We played great the final 7 games, and that's why we're the champs now.
Sometimes it can be tough to be a young guy in the major leagues. How did this veteran crew treat you? It seemed like they treated you pretty well.
Yeah, they were awesome all year long. They accepted all the young guys, and I think they knew a lot of us were going to be here, and they needed us to win. So you know, a lot of those guys, you know, helped us out. You know, Mike Lowell, Alex Cora, Jason Veritek. I mean, everybody was great to us, and you know, they kind of took us under their wing.
Dustin, you're about to celebrate this World Series championship with all the fans of Red Sox Nation and this Duck Boat Parade. You got a little taste of it yesterday. What was going through your mind as you were coming back to Fenway on the bus and all the fans were lining the streets?
Oh, it was awesome. I'm so happy for them. You know, they stuck by us through everything. Even when we were down 3-1, it seemed like, you know, they still believed, and we did too. So, you know, this day's for them, and I'm excited for everybody.
All right, Dustin, enjoy the parade.
Dustin, congratulations. Okay, we earlier had mentioned there's going to be a flatbed truck as part of the parade. And these are some of the guys who are going to be on the flatbed truck, led by Ken Casey of the Dropkick Murphys. How you doing? Guys, how are you? Guys, how are you? Good going, thank you. How you doing? How are you?
Too many of us.
Well, they're all here. And Ken Casey is going to be making a little presentation here as another gentleman's going to make his way up. Not only is he a very good closer, but also he found out a very good dancer. Please welcome Jonathan Papelbon.
So we're doing a service here for everyone involved, and well, first of all, on behalf of Jonathan giving us the opportunity to get tickets to the game via him using the song again, thank you, and for just being who he is. And but most importantly, we thought he could come out like he did in Game 7 with the uniform, or he could come out like he did the last clinch in his underwear. So we said, to be on the safe side, we're going to make him a kilt, so this is just for him. Nice. Nice. That's tight, bro. That's tight. That's tight, man. Thank you. And just, I know a couple of your other players said they were going to join you, so we made one for Theo and for Josh, and and I know Big Poppy didn't say he was going to wear one, but how do you not make a kill for Big Poppy? So he's got one too. So. Oh, he'll wear it. We'll make sure he wears it. I appreciate this, guys, man. This is cool, man. And I gotta say one thing. At the end, when we get to City Hall, we're gonna party it up. We're gonna dance it up. So y'all just get ready at City Hall.
And now the players are headed to the buses to get on to the duck boats and to begin the Rolling Rally Part 2, 2007 style. Thanks so much for being with us. Let the parade begin.
Today's coverage is brought to you in part by BigTimeBats.com. For the official Louisville Slugger World Champion bat, go to BigTimeBats.com.
The best brands, amazing prices, the greatest service. Get it at Olympia Sports. Shop with confidence. Satisfaction guaranteed.
There's a storm coming. We're watching the zone very carefully. Snow, snow, snow. Gonna be a doozy. It's a nor'easter. Visibility is 0. Get ready to dig out. Getting real slippery. 128 is a parking lot. Gonna be a tough commute.
For added traction, you can always depend on Sullivan Tire.
We're always here to get you there.
You say you're the memory foam king, but you're just 8 inches thick at $15.99. My Bob-O-Pedic is 10 inches thick at $9.99.
I'm Tempur-Pedic. Size doesn't matter.
Then why, at 10 inches, does your price skyrocket to $23.99?
I'm a Tempur-Pedic.
Mine's available online at mybobs.com in firm, plush, or half firm, half plush for the same $9.99. Are you really worth $1,400 more?
I'm a Tempur-Pedic. You be the judge.
Olympia Sports is your majestic headquarters, featuring the new thermobase technology that insulates while maintaining temperature control. Get it at Olympia Sports. Shop with confidence, satisfaction guaranteed.
Made our way back into the SNHD Television Center, our continuing coverage of Rolling Rally 2. It's the 2007 Rolling Rally presented by Olympia Sports. I'm Tom Karen with you here as they get ready to board the duck boats and head out into the streets of Boston. We did this in 2004, an unforgettable day then, and that was in the rain and the mist and the fog and the cold. It is a chilly but gorgeous October day in Boston. And they are boarding the boats as we speak, out on Van Ness, just beyond center field and right center field, getting into the boats and getting ready to go. Sometime in the next half hour, they will board everything up, and then it'll take to the streets. The Rolling Rally, the actual parade begins, and this is a look at the parade route. It all begins at Fenway Park. As you'd imagine, they'll sort of double around there and get going up Boylston, eventually heading by the Prudential Center all the way along Boylston, by the Hancock Tower, and then hanging that left and heading on to Tremont. And once they go around to Tremont, they will eventually work their way to City Hall Plaza. And again, not a gathering at City Hall Plaza. The Rolling Rally will continue rolling and wrap up there. No tour, no impromptu journey into the Charles River this time around, although you did hear Jonathan Papelbon promise a pretty good dance at City Hall Plaza. It'll be a rolling rally like 2004, where they stopped several times to address the fans at several points along the way. And you're looking live down at Fenway Park as they board on to the Duck Tour boats. They're 31 feet long. Put a few players on each one, as you recall, from 2004, and get this thing rolling. As it'll take the better part of the half hour here to board everything up. You see a few of the players getting on. Families, you heard in the ceremony out of Fenway Park earlier, if you were watching, that every member of the front office will also get the opportunity to be in this parade. A very nice gesture from the Boston Red Sox, who've done a great job making the entire organization a part of this celebration today. It is the 2007 Rolling Rally. It is presented by Olympia Sports, and our coverage continues after this.
Nesson's postseason coverage is brought to you in part by WB Mason and their new What a Bargain Super Clearance Center, where you can save up to 75% on office furniture and equipment. Located at 647 Summer Street in Boston, across from the Boston Athletic Center.
Reading or watching TV on a flatbed is a pain in the neck. With My Power Bob, you can raise your head and feet with individual control and massage. I sleep on a Power Bob with Bob-O-Pedic for one reason only: pure comfort. Why pay thousands more for a Craftmatic when My Power Bob, complete with Bob-O-Pedic, is only $19.99? Buy it online at mybobs.com or in person at any of my stores.
Order your Red Sox Family CD, 9 original rockin' songs about our favorite team. Now available to Red Sox fans everywhere for just $15. A portion of the proceeds will benefit the Jimmy Fund. To order, simply log on to eBay and type in Red Sox Family.
The one thing I would change about my life
would be to attend ITT Tech much earlier on. I found that the hands-on education gave me a new direction and made me realize exactly what I wanted to do for the future. My wife was the one person who encouraged me to achieve more. She made me feel like I had a lot more to offer.
We are educators helping people build a foundation for the rest of their lives. ITT Technical Institute, School of Electronics Technology, education for the future. To find out more, call 1-800-ITT-TECH or visit us on the web.
The best brands, amazing prices, the greatest service. Get it at Olympia Sports. Shop with confidence. Satisfaction guaranteed.
A lot of people think I'm nuts. I'm crazy. I'm kind of whacked. I'm kind of not your normal host. Think I'm dull? Oh my God, I caught myself. Welcome to the show. Where you been?
Sponsored by Obashan Hardware, the greatest show on H2O.
All right, it's a couple moments ago as they load up the Duck Tour buses and everybody getting ready. Looks like Terry Francona down there on that boat. See who else is on there. Theo Epstein on there, as you can read from the side. Plenty of excitement today in the city of Boston. Tina Servasio is down in the middle of it. Let's go to Tina.
All right. Joining us among the duck boats, Parlay the Parrot, the infamous mascot of the Boston Red Sox bullpen, Mike Timlin. There is Parlay. Why did you decide to finally bring him out to the public?
Well, you know, he only made one road trip all year long, and that was to Colorado, and he helped us out. We swept the Rockies. It was awesome. You know, I just got to let everybody see, you know, everybody's been asking about him all year long, and now we can finally reveal who he is.
And the Pirates will be well represented in this rolling rally. You have the, is that the flag there I see?
The Pirate flag, yes I do. I've got a lot of names on here. And like I told you, if we get a chance, you know, we'll have, I'll tell you who's who.
All right, Mike, go enjoy yourself. Join your family on your duck boat. Congratulations again on the World Series.
Thanks, Tina.
All right, we are here on Van Ness Street. As you can see, all the families of the Red Sox and all of the players are heading to their duck boats. 25 duck boats are lining the street right now from Yawkey Way all the way down Van Ness. We're looking at a boat over there. I see Kevin Youkilis and Dustin Pedroia and their wives and girlfriends. Of course, we have the broadcasters boat over here. All of the players, the Dropkick Murphys had just passed by. They're heading to their flatbed truck, and you know who's going to be on there, Jonathan Papelbon. You got to see him earlier. Kilts involved. There will be many kilts involved today. So as you can see, the street is lined. You can take a peek at the players, their families, all of the Red Sox staff, baseball operations, the ownership, the front office, everybody getting ready for Rolling Rally number 2. Everyone loves a parade, especially one for the world champion Boston Red Sox.
All right, that's Tina Servasio reporting from Van Ness Street. Nick Cafardo of the Boston Globe joins us now back here at our SNHD Television Center. And I guess they learned a few things in 2004. One thing is, don't put the boats back in the water, because things get a little out of control at that point.
Yeah, they do. And so, yeah, I mean, you learn from all these situations. And but what a great thing for the city to have a baseball team win 2 championships in such a short period of time. So hard to do in baseball. Obviously, we've seen it with the Patriots, you know, winning Super Bowl after Super Bowl. But with the Red Sox in Major League Baseball, you play 162 games, and you can win the postseason and then win 2 of these things. That's amazing.
You know, we talked about it when the Patriots won their 2nd Super Bowl, and Tom Warner was the one who I think put it best after the 4-game sweep at Colorado. You do it once, and no one wants to call it a fluke, but it takes that second time to sort of put a team at the top of the game. Now you look at the Red Sox and say, this is a model franchise. They've won 2 out of the last 4 World Series.
No question, Tom. And the fact is, look at the turnover from the 04 team to the 07 team. It's almost kind of a different team.
Yeah.
So when you think about it in those terms,
and that was a turnover that got the team a lot of criticism at the time.
That's
Fans
right.
wanted Pedro.
That's right.
You win a World Series, you want everyone back. And they made that tough transition going to a younger team and letting some of those superstars go.
Yeah, and I know that Derek Lowe has made the comment, well, I wish we could have been together. Who knows how many championships we could have won back to back to back. You know, I'm not so sure about that. Obviously, eventually Pedro broke down.
Right.
They made that decision not to bring Pedro back, and I thought it was a good decision at the time. And they got superb draft picks in return
right.
for Pedro, Clay Buchholz, and kind of have rebuilt their team that way. And I'm sure they'll have to make similar decisions after this year.
And if you look at this year, one difference is, and we talked about this Sunday night with Jerry Remy after the championship, at that point in 2004, kind of a superstar-laden team. Almost every position was a veteran, many of them free agent veterans. Now you look at a team, while they're certainly a superstars, and you probably can't win a championship without a couple of those, certainly in Boston, but you've got Ellsbury, Pedroia, Euclid is still a young player, Papelbon, Beckett, Matsuzaka. There is a young core here that should be together for some time.
You're right. There's a great mix of veterans and young players. And, of course, again, you add Buchholz to this team, starting rotation next year. You've got Lester with, with all the confidence in the world now, winning the clinching game of the World Series. You've got a kid like Jed Lowry, at some point coming up, maybe next year. During the season at some point, giving you that that middle infield spark along with Pedroia. So that could be very interesting from there. Justin Masterson, you get a few other guys that might come up here.
Which is a big smile on Theo Epstein's face. This is what he wanted to build, an organization that produces from within and brings players up to keep the competition going and keep this team competitive. Right down in the middle of all that, 25 duck boats as you look down from the DirecTV blimp. Let's find Tina Servasio.
All right, everyone, come up on the board with me to a duck boat, an exclusive tour of one of the players' boats. We're heading on up the stairs, and here we are, guys. We're live on Nesson. This is Dustin Pedroia and Eric Hinski's boat. Eric, you have your family with you. This is wonderful. What's going through your mind? What do you think of all this?
I think it's crazy. It's the best. Boston's nuts right now, and rightfully so. We won the World Championship, and this is the coolest thing ever.
Dustin, has it sunk in for you yet? We were talking to you before that you guys have won the World Series. You're about to go in front of Red Sox Nation on one of these boats.
That's awesome. It's awesome, especially to get to spend time with your teammates and see all the fans that have supported us all year long. So it's been an unbelievable year, and I wish it didn't stop.
Let's keep going. Let's not make it stop. Let's go down into the boat. This is amazing. We're going to go down into the seats. Hello, Kelly Pedroia. What do you think of all this?
This is out of control. I'm so proud of them, and I'm so happy that this is going on right now. And it's a gorgeous day out, so it's going to be awesome.
Eric Hinski's wife, how are you? Congratulations on the baby, by the way.
Thank you.
What do you think of all this? And you're being able to share this with your husband and your baby.
I don't think that there's a group of guys that deserve it more. It's fantastic. And he's waited a long time to be with a team like this, so we're very excited.
All right, let's keep on going. What's going on? Enza, Kevin Euclid's significant other, she's hiding. Well, this is what everyone will be riding. All of the Red Sox players, all of the staff. We saw the training staff, of course, the coaches, your manager, general manager, you know it. So this has been absolutely incredible watching everyone board. Enza, what do you think of all of this? We have to ask everyone because this is just a surreal scene.
This is just extremely exciting for everyone. The players, us, it's amazing.
What's the story behind these gorgeous World Series champion t-shirts?
Shonda Schilling made them for everyone.
And all of the girlfriends and wives, everybody's wearing them?
Yes, kids.
So they'll be modeling them during the parade. All right, everybody, we're getting ready for the rolling rally from one of the players' duck boats. Now back to you.
Back to me. Thank you, Tina. As you take a look at Russell Nua, the massage therapist, and Nick, real quickly as we head to break, they've done an amazing job making the entire organization. If you're on the business side, you're on a duck boat today. Everyone in this organization is part of this celebration.
Yeah, I mean, all the people that flew out to Colorado, and it really is. The organization has grown immensely from the time I started covering baseball. It's about 10 times more people, but they do take care of their employees, no question.
We all remember the stories in 2004. Virtually a lot of teams don't do that. Everyone in the organization getting a ring, a long time, even security type personnel down in the ballpark who'd been with the team a long time. They really did a good job sharing that trophy and that experience in 2004 with everyone, and it looks like they're doing it again.
That's a nice touch. I mean, everybody's involved with it, from anybody in the ballpark who works in the ballpark, to the players on the field. And that means so much to the people who work there, in the ballpark and do the little things that make things happen at Fenway Park.
All right, the Rolling Rally 2, 2007 Rolling Rally, brought to you by Olympia Sports right here on Nesson. Our wire-to-wire coverage for a team that went wire-to-wire to win a championship continues after this.
Today's coverage is brought to you in part by BigTimeBats.com. For the official Louisville Slugger World Champion bat, go to BigTimeBats.com.
The last sound you hear
before you step on the field. Click, clack. I think the air is coming. Click, clack. Click, clack. Click, clack.
Get it at Olympia Sports.
I think the air is coming.
Have you seen our trucks? These are the trucks that can save your business money. Mechanical Services has been maintaining and improving the heating and air conditioning needs of businesses in Maine since 1957. Whether your business uses oil, gas, or electricity, it's a simple equation. More energy efficient equipment equals more money for your business. Call us for a free evaluation and look for the white trucks with the big red M for Mechanical Services. We can save you money.
Nice! Working, sweetheart! Great, great!
Ready for a new supermodel? Go to beepbeep.com for all the latest car models. Shop in style from local dealers. It's fast, safe, and easy. If your car's old-fashioned, get a new model.
Oh, beautiful!
Beepbeep.com, the fastest way to shop for cars.
Beep for me, baby.
Brought to you by Bangor Chrysler Dodge, Hogan Road in Bangor.
Well, the Red Sox mapped out a route to a world championship. Now we map out a route for a day of celebration. It is a day to pay tribute to the second world championship in the last 4 years. The Rolling Rally getting ready to embark from Yawkey Way, from Fenway Park, heading across the city, ultimately to City Hall Plaza. Nesson's coverage continues back here at an SNHD television center. Tom Karen along with Nick Gafardo. I'll ask you the question everybody's talking about. 2004, 2007. Hard to compare, but I think we've been talking about the fact that 04 was about magic, was about 86 years of a drought, generations of fans. They did such a nice job of saying this championship is for everyone who wore the uniform. This is more about baseball. This is what a team does when it wins a championship. That isn't about 3 generations waiting, and this is a team now with these 2 championships in the last 4 years that can call itself a model franchise in Major League Baseball.
Yeah, I mean, the burdens of pre-04 are gone. This is now, you have a team here that's a powerhouse in the American League and the National League in baseball, and one that's really building something. I mean, people want to use the D word, dynasty, which I don't think really happens in baseball. I think there'll be different winners every year. But
well, did you call the Yankees a dynasty in the late 90s?
I suppose, then,
so I guess that's the question. If they win 3 out of 5, even the Patriots, we were hesitant to use the word, although once you win 3 out of 4, 3 out of 5, then you've got to start calling it that.
That's true. And, certainly they have the pieces in place here to do it, especially that starting rotation,
Well, because of 2004, and you were obviously wrapped up in covering it there, but it was an amazing change in the attitude fans have. I mean, even in 04, you watched it saying, what was going to go wrong? How would this fall apart? Now fans watch this, and even down 3-1 in Cleveland, I think there was a confidence with Beckett coming on the mound that this team would come back.
Well, I'll give even one up on you. The big theme then was, will people care as much? Right.
That's exactly right. We talked about that.
Yeah.
How it would change everything. The passion would be gone.
Oh my God, it hasn't done any of that. In fact, it's made it more fervent. People are just crazy about the Red Sox, and just judging by when we go on the road, see all the fans that come out, who buy tickets, who buy plane tickets, who pack airplanes, who pack hotels, who pack downtowns in various cities, and turn a lot of road games into home games. It's just an amazing thing to watch.
Even out in Colorado, you know, the number of Red Sox fans there at the end celebrating.
Yeah, and I know there were a lot of Bostonians who live in Colorado now. I ran into a lot of them out there who had the Red Sox paraphernalia on and rooting for the Red Sox. And in many cases, you know, the husband was a Colorado Rocky fan and the wife was a Red Sox fan.
How did this all play out in Colorado while you were out there? How did the locals, I mean, this was kind of a David and Goliath, and we're not used to being Goliath. This is new to us. How was it playing out in the local media there?
You know, I think the feeling was they were happy to be there, you know, and they should have been. I mean, they accomplished a lot, winning 21 out of 22, and just a great surge at the end of the year. And, you know, a lot of them were blaming the 8-day layoff on what happened in the series, a legitimate point, but I really think it came down to the depth of the rosters. You know, I mean, the Rockies certainly have great young players, but they just didn't have those veterans like Schilling and Lowell, those kinds of guys that I think really put the Red Sox over the top.
But you have seen back-to-back years now, a 7-day layoff for the Detroit Tigers. They were flat. 8-day layoff for the Rockies. Not to say they were the better team. I think maybe the Tigers were the better team last year, but had nothing left by the time they got to the World Series. I think any chance of sort of keeping that magic, that role they were ongoing, that was gone with an 8-day layoff.
Yeah, but you could tell, though, that the Red Sox were a much better team with their talent base than the Rockies. And the Rockies even admitted that at the end. I talked to a lot of Rockies after the game who said, you know, the better team did win. And that's one thing I'll say about the Rockies. They made absolutely no excuses as a team. You know, they just knew they got whipped. And they admitted it and they moved on.
Well, we talked about it during the season. You can make the argument it wasn't the best team in the National League. It was the hottest team at the end, the best team in October, at the end of September. But, you know, certainly I think you can make an argument that Philadelphia, maybe Chicago, those teams had better talent, were better teams.
Perhaps better suited to face the Red Sox in the World Series, but, you know, that's the way it goes.
And the discussion, and we'll have this over the next couple hours, continues, is the American League just that much better? Because you could probably say the 4, 5, 6 best teams in baseball this year were in the American League.
You could.
All right, we will continue our coverage of the Rolling Rally. They're not departing from the Museum of Science today, folks. They're departing from Fenway Park, the hub of the baseball universe. Again, the second World Series championship in 4 years and the second Rolling Rally through the streets of Boston.
NESN's postseason coverage is brought to you in part by WB Mason and their new What a Bargain Super Clearance Center, where you can save up to 75% on office furniture and equipment. Located at 647 Summer Street in Boston, across from the Boston Athletic Center.
The best brands, amazing prices, the greatest service. Get it at Olympia Sports. Shop with confidence. Satisfaction guaranteed.
The nation unites at SoxHeads.com, the only social networking website dedicated to the Sox. Keep up to date with the latest news and rumors and enter daily contests where you can win signed Red Sox memorabilia, iPods, and much more. There's blogs, videos, unlimited photo galleries, and game time chat. Join the Dream Team Challenge and find out where to eat and stay when you follow the Sox on the road. It's all right here. The nation awaits your arrival. So join now. Membership is free, only at SoxHeads.com.
With a WB Mason Gold Star delivery, anything less than perfection just won't do. Gold Star drivers are trained to work miracles to deliver your office supplies the very next day at amazingly low prices without back orders or short shipments. Call 1-888-WB-MASON if something's missing from your office supply delivery.
Who are those wonderful people?
Who but WB Mason?
Every game night, NESN drops the puck with WB Mason's Bruins Face Off Live, New England's 30-minute pregame show with NESN's veteran Bruins analysts. Know the score before the game with WB Mason's Bruins Face Off Live.
Well, today's amazing HD picture provided by the DirecTV HD Starship, now broadcasting more than 70 channels in high definition. Saw the DirecTV Starship hovering over Fenway Park earlier today. It continues to follow the parade route, bringing us the pictures And you can see the parade route once again here. They'll be pulling out, we're told, in about 3 minutes. So we are just about ready for the start of all this. Now, where were you in 04 during the parade? Were you out on the route at all, Nick?
No.
The wily veteran gets to watch it on TV.
Exactly. I was probably still in St. Louis, just making my way back.
Well, you know what? It's interesting that they waited that extra day, and weather factored into that. But again, it was such a stunning championship in 04. And the difference, obviously, having it on a Saturday and even having that extra day for people to make plans. I think you had a lot more people coming down from Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, people flying back to Boston to be a part of it and coming home for the weekend. A little different having it on a Tuesday, but they wanted to wait another day or two. But most of these players, it is such a long grind. They were ready to head home. You see the Ortizes, who have a new home here. Doesn't mean they'll be leaving town, but a lot of players have to take off after. Oh, that was Manny. I'm sorry, beg your pardon. Those are the Ramirez's. As you can see, Manny's kids. We saw D'Angelo Ortiz on stage earlier with David Ortiz. But it's such a long grind. Most teams want to have this fairly soon so the players can get on with what is now a very short offseason.
Oh, it really is. And a lot of these guys, maybe take a couple of weeks off and go on vacation and then get right back at the grind, back to their workout facilities, wherever they may be. I'd like to be able to follow Manny around this offseason because I know he works out in Miami with Alex Rodriguez. So I'd like to be a fly on the wall in that gym.
Well, good luck. Joe Kerrigan couldn't catch up with him in Florida a few years back. He may not answer the door if you knock. There's Manny. Anyone who thought Manny really thought it didn't matter, well, you can see the smile on his face as these duck boats head out. They're about to start the engines and get this thing rolling. We'll take a break, come back. Live coverage of Rolling Rally 2007 gets going right after this.
Today's live coverage is brought to you in part by Olympia Sports, your home for all World Series Championship merchandise.
She looks like something special. She has a certain style. She has a place like pleasure.
Get it at Olympia Sports.
For great deals on BF Goodrich tires, come to Sullivan Tire. We're always here to get you there.
The IRS threatened to seize my car, my boat, and my business. I didn't know where to turn, so my accountant recommended Power Tax Relief.
Thousands of law-abiding Americans have turned to Power Tax Relief. Honest people just like you, whose circumstances left them owing more taxes than they could pay. Like the Myers family, who owed the IRS $40,000 from illness and family emergencies.
With Power Tax Relief, we paid only a portion of what we owed the IRS.
And they saved our house.
You can bet the IRS will have lawyers working on your case. Don't take a chance without your own legal help.
I was so worried I was going to lose my practice, but the team from Power Tax Relief, they got me a second chance.
Look, you have a limited window to negotiate with the IRS and settle your debt for less. This could be your last chance. Play it right with Power Tax Relief.
Owe over $10,000 in taxes? Settle with the IRS for less.
Call 800-517-4960. That's 800-517-4960.
Today's coverage is brought to you in part by BigTimeBats.com. For the official Louisville Slugger World Champion bat, go to BigTimeBats.com.
All right, getting ready to leave here. These things never quite get off on time because you've got an incredible amount of logistical organization to go through as you look down at that's Van Ness Street, right out behind Fenway Park, where they will get this thing rolling. But you think about the work that goes into putting all this together. And let's face it, no one's better at it than Dr. Charles Steinberg. The maestro puts together an event like this better than anyone, and this will be an event to remember.
Yeah, Mr. Theme. He just has one theme after another. He's got 1,000 ideas floating through his head. and winds up implementing so many of them, which is amazing to me.
You know, I interviewed Mayor Menino out on the stage at the beginning of all this when I was back at Fenway. We talked about how much it's changed since '04. He was the one who sort of came up with this rolling rally idea that it wouldn't actually stop. You know, traditionally you end up having a gathering at City Hall Plaza or wherever it is. And because it was the Saturday and it was the first time, they knew there would be such a crush on the city of Boston. But everybody at the time, I remember from the announcement to the actual parade, people thought it was a little crazy. This would not work. And now you look at it, it's a great way to do this.
It's a great idea. It really is. A lot of people get to see it, and a lot of people get to line the streets.
And they stop a few times along the way, address the crowd, and so everyone feels a part of it, which again goes back to the theme of '04. Everyone gets to feel like they're a part of this.
Right, and then you get a day like this, you know, weather-wise, it's just perfect out there. And I know there's a lot of controversy about whether you should have your kid taken out of school to come to this, and I've heard a lot of parents say, hey, this is a historical event. I want my child to experience this and never forget it, and I certainly appreciate that.
Well, it is beginning. I can tell you right down there somewhere there is a second grader and a fifth grader by the last name of Karen who are not in school right now. I'm certainly no one to say they should head to school today, because my kids are taking the day of hooky to celebrate down there with the Red Sox and take this all in. In the middle of it all, as the parade route is about to get more exciting as the boats are heading out, let's go down around the Copley Back Bay area and find Catherine Tappan.
TC, thanks. Yeah, well, you talked about fans being able to get the opportunity to come down here today. I had the chance to speak with a bunch of fans earlier, and many of them took off today from work. I had an 8-year-old tell me he was getting a history lesson here for the parade, so I don't think anybody had a problem coming here. It's a gorgeous afternoon. When we arrived, the streets were about 8 deep with fans. Now I would say 20, 25 deep. There are thousands of people here in Copley Plaza as they're waiting for those duck boats to come by, and we have learned that when those duck boats do come by, they're going to slow down a little bit here at Copley Plaza, and the Dropkick Murphys will perform, and Jonathan Papelbon will give us his river dance performance, and fans certainly said they're looking forward to that. So of course we'll continue to keep you updated as we are here in Copley Plaza. You can hear the fans behind me just chanting, ready to get this show on the road, guys.
Catherine, thanks very much. This Jonathan Papelbon dancing thing is going to take on a life of its own before the day is through. I promise you that.
Yeah, I was talking to Jeremy, his brother, and he said, you know, he's been doing that since high school. You know, he's been, you know, he's been really into that, and he's really perfected it. But you hope he doesn't get hurt doing it. You know.
Well, I think they're going to make sure that the truck stops before he actually starts dancing.
Oh, I hope so.
It would not be a good thing to have your closer injured in a dancing-related incident. But you know, Catherine said, and you could see just how deep, how thick this throng is around the duck boats as they head across. And you know, there's Kevin Euclid with a video camera, and I always think that's one of the coolest things. You know just how exciting this is for the players when you see them videotaping everything so they have their memories.
Yeah, I mean, they're almost like little kids, you know, at the parade themselves, you know, who you know, want to experience this firsthand, and it's a great source of pride. Hey, one of these years I want to see a collection of Manny's cars. You know, all the, you know.
On the parade?
Exactly.
They should put it right in the parade.
Right in the parade. You know, I've heard so much of these, about these cars. You know, I want to see them in person. I'm sure it would be a great thing for Manny.
Had he thought of it, he could have brought the grill, put that in the back, and maybe auctioned it off as he was heading through the streets of Boston.
Tailgating as you're rolling along there, why not?
You know, you saw Daisuke Matsuzaka there in that last one. Let's talk about Daisuke real quick, because you know, for a while we heard the stories that he was getting a lot of pressure back in Japan, and he sort of hit that wall in September, and that wasn't playing well back home. But he really got a little shot at redemption and was never overpowering in the postseason, but had a couple of nice starts at the end against Cleveland and then the one against Colorado to sort of put a nice ending to what had been a roller coaster season.
Tom, he's a source of great national pride back in Japan right now. I've talked to a lot of the Japanese reporters who have reported back on certainly his performance, and with a hit with the glove and with the on the mound in Game 3, and that really played huge there. And yeah, I think people were a little bit worried for him that maybe this wasn't going to turn out the way it should have. But what great experience he has gained now, not through only the regular season, but being in the World Series, and I think everybody's looking forward to seeing this guy next year and what the product will look like next year.
Although I think we've got to be careful, and we've already heard a lot of these Beckett analogies.
Yeah,
that, that's setting the bar a little bit high. I think we all believe he can come back and have a great second season, but what Beckett did in year 2 has been unbelievable.
Well, yeah, and I think it's a little unfair too, because Beckett, of course, throws 97, 98 miles an hour, and Daisuke doesn't get it that far. I mean, he gets up to 93, 94. Of course, he has tremendous other pitches, and but I think just the experience of facing those superb hitters night in and night out is going to be invaluable to him.
Well, the Rolling Rally is rolling as the city now begins its celebration in earnest. High noon was supposed to be the time. They were pretty close to that by the time they got rolling out there. You saw the shot from Copley Square a few moments ago. That's our vantage point where we hope to see the first dance of the day. Now, you see all the boats. I don't see the flatbed truck just yet. I'm not sure if that's out in the middle of it all or at the tail end of it all. Or just if Jonathan just commandeered it and they've gone somewher else, just have their own little.
He's probably rehearsing somewhere.
Little parade through the streets of Boston. He had to put his kilt on, so they must be hidden somewhere. Back to Daisuke Matsuzaka. You talked about the bat and the glove. Whoever would have thought that the last 2 World Series games, Daisuke Matsuzaka and Bobby Kelty get the game-winning RBI.
That Kelty, I think we underplayed the Kelty story.
Absolutely.
A great deal. There was so much other stuff going on. But what a thing. I mean, was it one swing?
Yeah, you see one pitch in the World Series, and you hit the game-winning home run.
I mean, and we always heard, boy, he can really hit left-handed pitching, and he sure can. And so, yeah, that's a tremendous story. That because of the time, because these games start so late, the media really can't get into these great stories like Bobby Kelty, but.
Well, we got a whole offseason to that. You got plenty of time. I look for a Nick Cafardo, Bobby Kelty feature coming
he's
up.
He's a free agent, and
well, it's a great story because you talk about a guy who was released mid-season, didn't know where he was going, winds up on a duck boat in the second to last day of October.
Exactly, and that's a whole story in and of itself. All of the guys that were on this team that probably may not be on this team next year, and we saw Eric Kinski a little while ago. He probably won't be back, and a bunch of guys that kind of contributed here and there in their own way, and that's what it takes to win a championship. Eric Kinski had to fill in there a couple of times, and he had a couple of big games that helped him win.
Bobby Kelty becomes an interesting subject on that, though, because he may have played himself into a reserve role here next year. Switch hitter, pretty good defensively. He's a pretty good guy to have off the bench if he doesn't get a big offer somewhere else.
Well, that's true. I mean, the Red Sox do have to consider some other things. Brandon Moss, obviously, they're making him into a first baseman in winter ball. But obviously, he's a very good outfielder, too. So I think they have to make some kind of room for him. So, Coco Crisp's future here. I mean, obviously, we think that Jacob Ellsbury will be the starting center fielder next year, and if he is, then what happens to Coco? Is he the 4th outfielder, or is he someone who gets traded?
Well, there is a look at the flatbed. You see Jonathan Papelbon sort of top left of your screen. I think we've got the Victory cigar going, and we've got the punches thrown in the air. That's the Dropkick Murphys, who you know by now. Ken Casey, the bassist, and vocals on most of the song. A huge Red Sox fan, huge sports fan. They've been a very big Bruins fan for a very long time, but really became part of this whole Red Sox thing in 2004 with that song, Tessie, and they've been part of all that ever since. Started up again this year, shipping up to Boston, which is off their, not the most recent, but the previous CD, The Warriors Code. Which was also in the movie The Departed, and kind of has become, with that Irish sound to it, almost kind of an anthem here in Boston. And surprisingly, Nick, you were blissfully unaware that that was the song that Jonathan Papelbon takes the mound to.
Yes,
and we're hearing it in the background.
I'm so sorry I didn't know that.
I was quizzing you during the commercial break. You didn't know Mariano Rivera came out to Enter Sandman. You didn't know Trevor Hoffman came out to Hell's Bells.
I didn't know that. I mean, I do pay attention to the WWE theme songs.
You did come back with a Triple H, very impressive, absolutely.
But they have not paid attention to the theme songs with the Red
Dennis
Sox.
Eckersley came out the Bad to the Bone, by the way.
Oh, was he?
George Thorogood.
Okay. Yeah, I prefer to watch him pitch rather than listen to
watch
the
him
music.
pitch and apparently go home and watch wrestling on TiVo. Let's go down to Hazel May. Where is she? She's down in the it's City Hall Plaza, where this whole thing's going to wrap up towards the end of it all. Hazel, how's it going out there?
Hey, TC, we're having a blast over here. We are here at City Hall Plaza with 1,000 of your closest friends. Now, I'm going to take my IFB off because I can't hear myself think. TC, we're at the end of the 7-mile parade here at City Hall Plaza. Of course, fans have been staked out here as early as 6 a.m. We've been hearing chants of "Re-sign Lowell," "Don't sign A-Rod," and of course, your very popular derogatory Yankees chants. Now again, we're here at the plaza, the site of many parades and rallies, most notably those that honor the region's championship sports teams. The Celtics, the Patriots, the Bruins, and of course, the Red Sox. Now, the last time the Red Sox were here at City Hall Plaza, October 1st, 2007, that's when the city of Boston held that pep rally in honor of the AL East champion Red Sox, the first division crown since 1995. Now, one more thing. Back in 1976, Queen Elizabeth II, here's a little tidbit for you, was greeted here at City Hall Plaza for her bicentennial visit. So, TC, City Hall Plaza, good enough to greet British royalty, and obviously good enough to greet baseball royalty as we wait anxiously for the world champion Boston Red Sox. Now, I'm going to get everybody to wave. We've been watching you, TC, here on the Jumbotron at City Hall Plaza. We'll look forward to talking to you again soon, so we're waiting anxiously. Back to you in studio.
All right, Hazel, I'm not sure that you can still hear us, but you should get down and sign that, autograph that sign that says, "I love Hazel May." I mean, you know, I've been doing a lot of these things. I never see one of those "I love TC" ones. So,
well, I've seen those,
yeah.
but it was interesting.
I don't want to know where you're hanging out there.
It was interesting, the order of the signs. You know, Josh Beckett, "Will You Marry Me?" Big Poppy, and "I Love Hazel May."
Yeah,
you know,
got it all covered.
Yeah.
As you can see, they are really enjoying this. Kevin Youkilis, who a couple of weeks ago got to launch his new charity down there with his fiancée Enza. The camera's just out for everybody right now, the players, the families. Some of these guys, you know, Kevin Youkilis was on one of these back in 2004. Didn't get to play a whole lot. I think he had 2 pinch hit opportunities in that game, 0 for 2 in that postseason, but was on the roster for the World Series. Got himself a ring, got himself a trip to the presidency, to the president, and this is kind of the fun thing for all of this. The young guys who haven't been through this before, the off season just becomes a blur of photo opportunities. You talk to the guys from 04 and, you know, they get their chances with the trophy, they get to go to the White House. It's just an entirely different experience if you've never been through it before.
Yeah, and there's always the thing about winning a world championship, you know, how the young players will react to it, and they will be overwhelmed with all kinds of appearances and marketing, advertising opportunities, and you know, the main thing the team has to do is make sure that they, you know, take part in their off-season program and really stick to it, and are very dedicated to it. And knowing this group of guys, I'm sure they will.
I see they got the drums out there. This, of course, the bullpen guys who are playing. You know, you were aware they were playing music?
Yes, I did see that part. Yes, you know, Brian Corey's an interesting guy. You know, he kind of blended in so nicely with his team at the end of the year, and I always felt that maybe he might sneak on one of those rosters in the postseason, but they obviously had other ideas. But Brian Corey is a guy that they could enter into their bullpen mix next year.
Well, and Eric Gagne down in the middle of that. Obviously, it didn't work out for him, but he certainly gets to be a part of this parade, and it shows the depth of that Red Sox bullpen. Things didn't work out with Eric Gagne, and they still had enough depth to win a world championship.
Yeah, it didn't work out at all, and he'd be the first guy to admit it. He was a very stand-up guy about it, and you know, the change of roles, you know, is certainly something that has to be pointed to, and I think, you know, people kind of underestimate that. You know, you're the closer, you have that steam of adrenaline coming in when you're the closer. You don't have that when you're the setup guy so much. And next year, you know, he may go back to the Texas Rangers, you know, because they
had,
liked him
you
a
know,
lot
16 saves before he came here. It was a good season going. Take another look, as we showed you earlier, from the blimp. That's the Dropkick Murphy stage. Jonathan Papelbon was dancing earlier when we saw him, and I don't think he's going to stop dancing, although we haven't really seen the all-out river dance that we expect to see the first time the boat stops.
He's saving that for the right time. I mean, I think
he's a closer. He knows you got to save the best for the end.
At the end, he'll do it, and looks like he's smoking an El Tiante there.
I think that's very impressive, Louis T. Now, I haven't seen an alumni boat, and I know they did that in 04, and that's another part we can talk about, that they have done such a nice job of bringing in the alumni, making the guys who wore the uniforms feel very much a part of all this.
Yeah, I mean, that's something that was really missing from from the previous regime. I think they've made a great effort all these 67 guys have come back several times for these events, and certainly we see all the great players around the ballpark, El Tiante, Dwight Evans, Jim Rice, Freddie Lynn comes here a lot, and Carlton Fisk. So it's great to see those guys, guys that I kind of grew up with, and guys that I covered back in the 80s with the Red Sox.
Well, in fact, Daisuke Matsuzaka's RBI in the World Series, the first since Jose Santiago got one in 1967 in the World Series. The 40-year anniversary of the impossible dream, culminating with the celebration for a very probable dream, the 2007 World Championship and the 2007 Rolling Rally, sponsored by Olympia Sports. Coverage right here on NESN continues after this.
Today's live coverage is brought to you in part by Olympia Sports, your home for all World Series Championship merchandise.
Olympia Sports is your majestic headquarters, featuring the new thermobase technology that insulates while maintaining temperature control. Get it at Olympia Sports. Shop with confidence, satisfaction guaranteed.
Nope. Sorry. I gotta get some paper. Door. Cool. Retro.
Who was that dude?
WBMason.com.
The nation unites at SoxHeads.com, the only social networking website dedicated to the Sox. Keep up to date with the latest news and rumors and enter daily contests where you can win signed Red Sox memorabilia, iPods, and much more. There's blogs, videos, unlimited photo galleries, and game time chat. Join the Dream Team Challenge and find out where to eat and stay when you follow the Sox on the road. It's all right here. The nation awaits your arrival. So join now. Membership is free, only at SoxHeads.com.
The best brands, amazing prices, the greatest service. Get it at Olympia Sports. Shop with confidence, satisfaction guaranteed.
This coverage is brought to you in part by BigTimeBats.com. For the official Louisville Slugger World Champion bat, go to BigTimeBats.com.
All right, our coverage continues here as you look at the Duck Tour boats heading through the streets of Boston. Don Orsillo, Tina Cervasio right there in the middle of it all.
Well, he looks dapper, huh?
Oh, always, always.
Yeah.
Always the best dressed man in the room or on the duck boat.
Yep. And he's got that tie, that red tie on that white shirt. I always make fun of him on his clothes, by the way. So.
Oh, yeah,
but that's a good look.
As we all do, but he does look good today as they're in the middle of enjoying every minute of it. And they're out there for every single game. Don, Tina, our broadcast team, they started the day down on the stage at Fenway Park as they had that presentation, that ceremony, which they did back in 2004 as well, bringing the players out and interviewing them before a small gathering at Fenway. But now the large gathering out in the streets of Boston as the Duck Tour boats stopping here to greet the fans and do a little dance.
Yeah, and obviously you look through the crowd there, and definitely some college students and some younger kids, but obviously a lot of adults, and I've certainly heard that a lot of people came in from other states to be here. Some came very early, and obviously enjoying the weather and the great time here.
Well, let's talk about Terry Francona. We just saw that sign, most valuable manager, the only active manager in the American League with a couple of World Series. Tony La Russa, the only one with two other World Series championships, entering the last year of the contract. We've talked a lot that it now appears that they will give him the extension and get that taken care of. Maybe Terry Francona will finally get his due from Red Sox fans.
Yes, it's a long year here, and there are a lot of ups and downs and a lot of moves to be made in those individual games, and we react to everything. It's unlike a lot of cities that, I'm not saying that every city takes the longer view, but here in Boston, we go on every pitch pretty much, and you know, Terry's out there, and he. The great thing about Francona is he understands that fans will second guess him, that the media will second guess him. Doesn't hold any grudges as a result of it, you know, because in the end he's usually right, you know, because he does know his players very, very well. Of all the managers that I've been around, I can't think of a guy who knows when to rest a player, who knows what's going on with that player in his personal life, what's going on with that player emotionally, and they have a great plan. John Farrell, I thought, was a great addition with him.
Could they be losing John Farrell? We've heard the rumors about Pittsburgh being very interested in naming him manager.
It's just a great fit with Neil Huntington. You know, they've come from the Cleveland organization. They share the same philosophies about baseball, the same kind of systems they put into place with their organization. John has been a part of that with the Cleveland organization and now with Boston. So it's a great fit. You know, obviously Neil Huntington's a new GM, and you know, and he's under pressure to name the right guy. Now, John has not had managerial experience, and that could enter into it, but he's got to be considering him very, very highly for this job.
Certainly one of the things we'll be watching in the off-season, but today it's all about the banner, and there are a few of them throughout the city, and there's one of the large ones, I believe, that is up above the Prudential. That is the 2007 banner, the large one. They've already got them up at Fenway Park. They waste no time getting those bad boys up there, and why not?
Yeah, well, you know, it took them 86 years to get one up anyway, so might as well hoist them up as soon as you can.
You know, I joked the other day that everyone's talking about 2 and 4 years. You take the longer view, it's 2 and 90 years, so they still got some catching up to do,
Exactly.
but we'll dwell on the 2 and 4 years right now.
You know, as we were writing the stories at the end there, we're trying to think, how many championships have they won? And then, 7.
7.
It's 7.
Right,
You know,
but you got to go back a ways to find the other 5.
Yeah, they were a dynasty in the early 1900s, and now maybe in this century they'll do the same.
Might have been the first time since 1918 they took the field in a World Series as the prohibitive favorite.
Absolutely, I agree with that. Yeah, and they stuck to it from start to finish. They were in first place. They were the best team. I mean, at times the Yankees challenged and got within 3 or 4 games, and I got all kinds of emails from Yankee fans and saying we're gonna beat you and all this stuff. As if I was playing shortstop for the team or something. But yeah, I mean, they really had a very consistent year. I mean, yeah, there were a few ups and downs, but boy, when you look at the whole 162, to be that consistent was absolutely amazing.
April 18th, they moved into first place, never looked back, and really, we talked about how tough is it when you haven't been challenged, because they got swept in Toronto and their lead was down to 1, but they still had a 6-game lead in the division. They were never threatened of getting knocked out of playoff contention, never really facing any sort of true character test until Game 5 of the American League Championship Series. Suddenly down 3-1. We didn't know what this team was made of. Right. We found out over those next 3 games.
We sure did. And again, that's been underplayed as well. Obviously, we go back to 2004 and the 2003 to the Yankees, and but being down 3-1 to a team that I thought was really equipped to be a very good postseason team in the Indians. And to see them fall apart like they did, and the Red Sox, it really took it to them.
When you have time and we look back on all this with more perspective, their ability to absolutely just dominate CC Sabathia and Fausto Carmona, not once, but twice each, has to be one of the huge stories of this entire run.
And you feel good about it because they beat the best. Those guys, listen, I think Sabathia may win the Cy Young Award, but he's not the best pitcher. I think Josh Beckett obviously is the best pitcher in baseball right now, but toward the end of the season, Sabathia had been red hot, and I think he garnered some of those last-minute votes, by some of the voters at the end of the regular season. But and Carmona was just nasty, filthy, call him what you want. I actually thought he had overtaken Sabathia as their #1 guy
by the end of the season, right?
But the Red Sox offense is just so patient, and obviously Carmona, he throws a lot of balls, and hitters normally swing at those pitches, and then he gets out with those, and the Red Sox had a great game plan against him.
They may not have swung at an outside pitch that entire ALCS. Let's go down to Copley Square. The parade getting close. Catherine Tappan's still there. Catherine.
All right.
Yeah, TC, it is definitely getting close. I don't know what's better, 2004 or 2007. I think some of these fans have been up since Sunday night making their signs. We've seen Friends Don't Let Friends sign A-Rod. We had Put On Your Dancing Shoes. There's even a group of 3 fans over to our right who have their shirts off and they have spelled out the word socks. I actually also caught up with 2 businessmen from London who said that the last time they came to town was in 2004, and that was when there was also another rolling rally. So I think they're 2 for 2, and they probably think Boston is the coolest city in the world, as of course we do too. So everybody's anxiously waiting for those duck boats to come down. Thousands of fans here in Copley Plaza. TC?
Catherine, thank you. We saw a couple of Santa Claus out there. Yeah, it is Halloween. Tomorrow is Halloween. And It would have been interesting. We wondered as they were taking care of business Sunday night, would it be Tuesday, would it be Wednesday? This might have been a whole different feel if it was actually on Halloween. Probably better to have it today.
Yes, yeah, great for the kids too. You know, they're parade and then Halloween.
What a week.
Great,
not so good
week.
for teachers. There are going to be a lot of kids without much sleep. A lot of fans, obviously, from one end of the city to the other today. Hazel May caught up with a few of them at Government Center.
TC, we're back here at City Hall Plaza with the Stonehill College girls. Now, Kara's going to tell you how long these girls have been out here staking out a spot here at City Hall Plaza.
Well, we left Stonehill this morning. We got on the first tee in. We've been here ever since, ready to get the full effect of Red Sox Nation.
Now, I got to ask you, who are you most looking forward to seeing here when the duck boats roll by?
Mike Lowell, hands down. MVP of the World Series. He's amazing. We absolutely love him.
So if you're General Manager Theo Epstein's right-hand woman, are you going to restyle free agent Mike Lowell?
I don't even think it's a question. Hands down, definitely.
All right, now there's a lot of talk about the pink hats out there in Red Sox Nation, and you ladies are just as knowledgeable as baseball fans, or the male baseball fans, correct?
Right, we're all athletes and we love to be here right now.
We love the sports, we just love all the action.
All right, TC, before we go, they've got one more message for you, ladies.
That is all from City Hall. Back to you,
Very good, ladies.
Well done. The girls from Stonehill enjoying every minute of it. As we head to break, we'll come back with more right after this.
My Power Bob with Bob Opedic lies flat like a normal bed.
But we got the power.
Lift your head and back. Lift your feet.
No more propping up pillows. Read, eat, watch TV in bed. Turn on the pulsating massage and remove the stress.
And sleep tight knowing that you paid only $12.49 queen size. Thousands less than Craftmatic or Tempur-Pedic, and I will always make you happy.
Buy it online at mybobs.com.
Or buy it in person at any of my stores.
The drive scores! The Bruins win!
What are you being charged for internet service?
I don't know, maybe $24?
$23.90. What are you being charged for internet service?
$10.95.
$10.95.
Millions are discovering the real value of People PC Online. Go to peoplepc.com now to try us free for 30 days. You get unlimited internet access for only $10.95 a month. People PC Online has a smart dialer with more local access numbers than AOL for faster, more reliable connections. You even get security tools to help protect you from spam, pop-ups, and email viruses. And you can continue to use your favorite instant messenger. Compare us side by side with your current ISP. Go to peoplepc.com and start saving today. So the next time you're asked how much you pay, proudly declare
$10.95.
Go online or call 1-800-943-8296. People PC Online, a better way to internet.
Parade is on the Rolling Rally, rolling on through the streets of Boston, and fans waiting for their opportunity to get a look at the Boston Red Sox. Catching up with some of those fans at Copley Square is Catherine Tappan.
So what are you looking forward to the most here? I understand the Dropkick Murphys are going to be performing right over here, and Jonathan Papelbon.
Show the dance. I got a little Papelbon dance ready to go with him.
It's just like us, you know, we're out here every day.
All right.
Ready to dance with them.
Did you learn that from Jonathan himself?
Watching.
That's awesome.
All right.
Watching. What I'm looking for today, it seems a lot of fun, so go Red Sox, you know?
And now tell me, did you guys, when you were watching the final out, were you just overwhelmed with excitement when the Red Sox won another World Series?
Oh, of course. My dad was, you know, My dad, he had the house shaking. He was screaming. My girlfriend was sleeping. I woke her up. I stayed up the whole game. I've been watching them throughout the whole postseason and everything, you know.
That's awesome.
So, it's good to bring another title back home.
All right, so that's the scene at Copley Square. This is the scene back on Boylston as the Red Sox are rolling through the city. It'll be interesting to get the estimate ultimately on how many fans came into the city. A lot tougher, again, logistically, to do this on a weekday. You've got businesses that still have to operate. The business world does not shut down because the Red Sox won the World Series.
Yeah, absolutely.
And certainly more of a challenge to the mayor's office and the city to get this done today rather than doing it on Saturday, which is what they had the advantage of doing last time around.
But they're prepared for it. They, based on last year, I'm sure that they've been able to project what they needed to do, and it looks so far they've done a heck of a job.
Hey, this is 5 now between the Red Sox and Patriots since 2001. Let's talk about that real quick, Nick. And we've all been talking about this. Just the amazing time we're in right now. The dog days of Boston sports are long gone now, because we've had 3 Super Bowl championships, 2 World Series championships. The Celtics are back on the map with Kevin Garnett. Very quietly, by the way, the Boston Bruins are off to a tremendous start and are fighting. Are a very good team right now. Fans like the toughness this Bruins team is showing, and Boston College is number 2 in the country in football right now. Is there ever been a better time to be a sports fan of Boston?
This is pretty good. I can't think of another time when you've had everything, including the top college team being number 2. I mean, if BC was in any other part of the country, there would be hysteria over this.
They played Virginia Tech on Thursday night, and it was hardly a notice here.
Oh, yeah.
So a friend pointed out, it did make the front page of the Boston Globe sports section, but it was the 3rd sports section of the Boston Globe that day. It was after 2 sections of the World Series.
Right, yeah, and you feel bad about that because you need to give them the attention that they so richly deserve, and of course their season's continuing, so we can catch up to them.
Well, there's a little Pats and Colts football game to deal with. That's next. So when you have that letdown tomorrow that this baseball thing is over, there's some pretty good football to turn your attention to. The Patriots and Boston College, and again the Celtics and Bruins are going in the right direction right now. Last I checked, I think, and I'm remiss for not knowing the outcome of Game 1, but the Revolution in the playoffs is about as good as it gets.
Yeah.
Yes, they are.
Yeah. Bob Kraft put out full-page ads in both newspapers today. Very classy thing for him to do, and it looks like his team may be rolling through a parade as well this year.
I think it was Chris Berman. I'll give him credit for this on ESPN. Called the Pats-Colts game this weekend Super Bowl 41.5, and that's kind of how it feels. This is the game everyone's been waiting for, but today is the day everyone's been waiting for the Red Sox, and they go wire to wire, and that's the remarkable thing about this. Was it the '84 Detroit Tigers that kind of jumped out and never looked back? This rarely happens. A team gets out early. The Seattle Mariners is the classic example of 116 wins, and they don't make it to the World Series, let alone winning it all. There are teams that come out, play great all season. There are other teams, the St. Louis Cardinals last year, who don't get hot until the postseason. This team was dominant from start to finish.
Yeah, and that's really the case with a lot of teams now, especially the lately the wild card teams, because they have to fight to get to the wild card spot. They're the hot team, and in a lot of cases, it is the Colorado Rocky type teams that eventually win this thing. But the Red Sox did such a great job regrouping, especially at the end of the season. They shut down Hideki Okajima for a while. They gave Daisuke more rest. They gave Schilling more rest, and that really, in the end, was great. And people were panicking at the time. Got to win the division. If you do this, you might not win the division. But again, they know their personnel so well, and those guys were able to ratchet it back up.
They were just suggesting the 2005 White Sox, pretty good call there, but nobody took the White Sox that seriously because they kind of jumped in out of nowhere. And, I guess that's not fair because obviously they did wind up being the best team the entire year, but you didn't get that same feeling of them being dominant. Dominant in the division, but not when compared to the rest of baseball.
Yeah, you really, even in the playoffs, you really didn't believe them until...
Sox were the favorite as a wild card.
Yes, until those starting pitchers they had started pitching complete games in the postseason. And then you realize they were a special team as well.
I want to go back to what you were talking about there, about the way fans wanted that division title. They wanted that American League East title. They got it. But they wanted this team to put the hammer down early. They didn't want anyone resting. They didn't want anyone taking a break. And in the end, they could not have handled things better as an organization. Guys like Manny Ramirez was hurt. He needed to shut down, obviously, but they got Ortiz some rest. They got Youkilis some much-needed rest. They gave some guys breaks. They gave Kurt Schilling that break during the season. Guys who probably wouldn't have been this effective in the postseason had they not been handled that way. Papelbon, very cautious with them all year long so they could take the reins off in October.
Well, and there was always talk at the end also that maybe the Red Sox didn't care whether they won the division, and you could tell by talking to the players, even though they were looking to make the postseason and be strong in the postseason, that to a man they wanted the division, you know, because it meant they had beaten the Yankees. That's their biggest rival. It meant so much to the fans to beat the Yankees finally for a divisional title. And so they, I mean, to have accomplished that, and then to have accomplished the World Series title is just remarkable. And we see Larry Lucchino and Tom Warner there.
John Henry there as well. He's somewhere on the boat. You don't see him at the moment. And I'm guessing the trophy is somewhere on the boat there as well. We'll try to get a look at that in a moment. Let's check in with Catherine Tappan and Copley.
Well, TC, the noise level has certainly gone up here as the boats have finally made their way. We've got the ownership boat, Larry Lucchino, Tom Warner, John Henry waving to the crowd. You can hear Tessie being played in the speakers. Of course, Dropkick Murphys. And the fans are finally seeing what they've been waiting all morning for. As these duck boats roll through, the confetti is all in the air. It looks like a snowstorm almost, with all the tickets and the things being tossed around. And the boats are slowing up a little bit. I don't know if that means that Jonathan Papelbon is on his way, ready to perform, but we'll have to wait and see.
All right, Catherine, thank you. So that's at Copley Square, which they're trying to figure out along the route of it all where exactly that puts them. But they are rolling on here as, you know, you try to, I mean, this is a, you know, classic fan strategy for parades. You try to pick a spot. Where can I get that I might be able to get up near the front, and then how long will I have to wait? You sort of weigh off the long day waiting towards the end, but the crowd doesn't get as big there at the end. So wherever you are, this is the moment you're waiting for, the players coming by.
Yeah, and I think people are also trying to figure out the spot where Papelbon's going to do the dance. So this is what it's all about now, where he's going to do this dance. And, you know, who would have thought that, you know, but... But,
all right, so you see that's where they are, probably approaching about the halfway point of all of this as they head towards City Hall Plaza at the end. But you're right, we saw Theo Epstein there a moment ago with Sam Kennedy from the Red Sox as the front office is all enjoying it, being saluted by the Red Sox. But, you know, Josh Beckett vowed he would dance with Papelbon if they won the World Series. And we saw after, I don't remember if it was the regular season AL East clinching or if it was the ALCS at Fenway, but we saw, I think it was the first time, Theo run out and sort of shut down the dance for Papelbon.
I would be doing that too.
He wanted to sort of, that was the day he didn't have all his uniform on either, if you recall. So I think Theo Epstein, cooler heads prevailed there. Second time around, he stayed fully clothed and enjoyed it. But now everybody wants to see the final dance, the dance they've been waiting for. You see a lot of the coaches, Terry Francona in the middle of that, some of the clubhouse guys who are enjoying every moment of this. Joe Cochran, talk about that real quick, because these are the guys, you know, they get a nice share, they get a bonus. It might not mean as much to the players who make millions. I'm not saying the World Series doesn't, but the monetary that goes along with that. But to the clubhouse guys, it's an incredible windfall, and they're the guys who work so hard along with the team, and that's what they work for, the trophy. Yeah, and there it is. Yeah, and yeah, the clubhouse guys, you feel good for them, because if the public could only witness what these guys have to do on a daily basis and the hours they work, they're early in the morning till late at night, and really take care of the players in every way. With uniforms, with anything they need to make their job easier. And so the players are nice enough in most cases to offer them a full share of the World Series winnings. Well, they're the first ones to get at the ballpark and the last ones to go every day. And now you are seeing some of the alumni, Mr. Red Sox, Johnny Pesky, right there, enjoying every moment of it. Catherine Tappan in the middle of it all. Let's check in with her.
Well, TC, when the ownership boats and the coaches' boats went through, the fans started chanting, "Re-sign Lowell." So I don't know if they're going to get that message or not, but I know they heard it. Then Kurt Schilling's duck boat went by with Josh Beckett on it, and Schill was holding up the World Series trophy. And now we've got Kevin Youkilis's duck boat coming through with Dustin Pedroia on there, Eric Hinsky, and the crowd. You can hear them chanting the Uke chant. Of course, he is a fan favorite, and he certainly is here at the parade as well. Dustin Pedroia catching the attention of many fans, as I've seen tons of Pedroia signs out here this morning. Jacoby Ellsbury signs. We've got a little bit of everything. Fans are even sitting on the rooftops of buildings and on the church steps waiting to get the best angle of these guys. There's John Lester in that video camera that he told us yesterday he was going to go get at Best Buy. He's definitely taking all this in. Moment to remember for sure for John Lester. A very, very emotional season for him, and he capped it all off by being the winning pitcher of Game 4 in the World Series. Looks like these guys have their video cameras as well. We've got Kyle Snyder sitting on top of the duck boat. And the fans are certainly going crazy as this parade has finally made its way here. Brendan Donnelly, Manny Del Carmen, Javier Lopez, the whole crew. The ducks keep coming, and the confetti, as you can see, is being thrown everywhere. It looks like we have to wait a little bit here in the break in the action. TC, I'm going to send it back to you, and we'll be back as soon as another duck comes through.
All right, so Catherine on the duck watch. I think the next one up will be that flatbed, as Jonathan Papelbon is going to get his opportunity to dance, as they're going to make that one of the stops that the Dropkick Murphys will perform at. You saw the bullpen guys playing their drums, not quite the same as the bottles out in the bullpen, but they've become pretty adept at the art of percussion. They were talking about Pedroia before and all the Pedroia signs. Probably going to be your Rookie of the Year in the American League this year. We were talking during the course of the postseason, during the course of the World Series, going into the last game. Jacoby Ellsbury was right in the hunt for World Series MVP because it really kind of came down to that last day. Might have been the first time in history that a guy wins the World Series MVP the year before he's a rookie. Because we forget he's a rookie next year. He's not a rookie this year.
That's so true. And he was electric from the beginning. And you know, there are just certain guys you just know are going to be great players. I think we had that feeling about Fred Lynn, Jim Rice, Nomar. You know, it's the first time you ever saw him, you just knew. And the first time you saw this kid, you just knew.
When fans are clamoring for a player before he's ever played a major league game, that's rare. You know, I remember going down to Trenton to see Nomar Garciaparra play because you wanted to see him before everybody saw him, you know, and then this is one of those kids. All the fans up in Portland who saw him play with the Sea Dogs rave about him and feel he's theirs in a little way because they saw him. They had him up in Portland, Maine with the Sea Dogs. You can see the band going on, the Dropkick Murphys playing. Let's go down and find Catherine Tappan.
Oh, TC, the moment they've all been waiting for. He has arrived, Mr. Jonathan Papelbon. I don't know what dance is better, this one he's doing now or the river dance one, but he's certainly taking it in and enjoying every moment of this. The dance is about to come. Jonathan Papelbon just getting warmed up with that one that we saw here, but I think we're just moments away from witnessing the river dance. Here we go.
I'll try to listen in a little bit to the crowd and the music here as Jonathan Papelbon gets ready to dance. Ken Casey and Jonathan Papelbon at the microphone. Mike Timlin was just off to the side of Jonathan Papelbon. A little anticipation in the air, Nick.
You know, he's exhausting to watch.
To watch, let alone to be.
Yeah, I mean, he goes on and on and on. It's amazing.
Here we go. This is the dance.
He promised, and he certainly delivered. Jonathan Papelbon giving us his river dance with the Dropkick Murphys, shipping up to Boston, and of course, that was definitely the highlight for these guys here, standing, waiting since 9 a.m. at Copley Plaza. He certainly is one of the fan favorites here, and I think that song, if you don't have the record now, they're definitely going to the stores now to buy the Dropkick Murphys album with that song on it. I don't know, we're definitely having fun here at Copley Plaza, and Jonathan just made it all that much better, guys.
All right, Catherine, well done, as Jonathan Papelbon is indeed dancing. As you say, dancing in the streets? Literally, the Red Sox are dancing in the streets today.
They sure are, and I wonder if Jonathan will take that show on the road this offseason, you know? I'm sure there'll be demand for it.
Well, the Dropkick Murphys are touring with the new CD, so I think they should bring him in as part of the act.
Absolutely.
All right, we're going to take a break and come back. The Rolling Rally is rolling on. Our coverage presented by Olympia Sports as the 2007 Rolling Rally continues through the streets of Boston.
Today's live coverage is brought to you in part by Olympia Sports, your home for all World Series championship merchandise.
She looks like something special. She has a certain style. She has a grace like pleasure. So on the line, oh, walk me with a shade. I look around to find out where she is gone.
Get it at Olympia Sports.
The nation unites at SoxHeads.com, the only social networking website dedicated to the Sox. Keep up to date with the latest news and rumors and enter daily contests where you can win signed Red Sox memorabilia, iPods, and much more. There's blogs, videos, unlimited photo galleries, and game time chat. Join the Dream Team Challenge and find out where to eat and stay when you follow the Sox on the road. It's all right here. The nation awaits your arrival. So join now. Membership is free, only at SoxHeads.com.
Ah, another day in Masonville, where the friendly office supply folks from WB Mason give you your own local service team. Yes, your own driver, sales rep, and service person who know you and your business. Well, over in Office Superstore land,
You shipped that order? Ask him.
no, him,
What order?
you get excuses. Now, any questions?
Who are those wonderful people?
Who but WB Mason?
There's a storm coming. We're watching the zone very carefully. Snow, snow, snow. Gonna be a doozy. It's a nor'easter. Visibility is 0. Get ready to dig out. Getting real slippery. 128 is a parking lot. Gonna be a tough commute.
For added traction, you can always depend on Sullivan Tire.
We're always here to get you there.
You want to talk sports? I'm your point man.
Globe 10.0, presented by Verizon. Hosted by Bob Ryan. He's going one-on-one with Boston's best sports writers.
On the next Globe 10.0 presented by Verizon, Chris Gasper joins me to talk Sox and Patriots Colts.
Tune in for 10 sports questions and a man with all the answers. Don't miss the point. Tonight at 5:30, only on Nesson.
That's the point.
Nesson's postseason coverage is brought to you in part by WB Mason and their new What a Bargain Super Clearance Center, where you can save up to 75% on office furniture and equipment. Located at 647 Summer Street in Boston, across from the Boston Athletic Center.
Celebration continues. The 2007 Rolling Rally rolling on through the streets of Boston. They're on Boylston right now as they've spread out. You saw the dance in Copley. So now they continue along Boylston, ultimately getting ready to go to Tremont, and they will wrap up, finish this whole thing at City Hall Plaza down Government Center. That's where Hazel May is. Let's go and find her now.
Hey, TC, we are here back at City Hall Plaza. We're watching you on the Jumbotron here at TC. You got a lot of fans out here. I want to introduce you to 12-year-old Morgan, and Morgan's got a very interesting sign he wants to tell everybody about. Go ahead.
My mom's a real fan. She let me skip school.
That's right. Morgan's mom is a real fan. She let him skip school. Now, is there a teacher out there you want to say hello to?
Hey, Mr. Higgins.
Is Mr. Higgins a big Red Sox fan?
I have no clue.
He should be. Hi, Mr. Higgins. Wish you were here, Mr. Higgins. Now, I want to talk to Morgan's mom. And Mom, school's pretty important. So you let him skip school. Why?
This is a once-in-a-lifetime for him.
Were you here in the 2004 parade?
We were not, and I absolutely regret it.
You absolutely regret it. Now, this is a family affair because Mom's fiance has a very interesting sign that says Mike Lowell for president and third baseman. I think everybody wants to re-sign Mike Lowell. Absolutely. TC, we're having a blast here at City Hall Plaza. We cannot wait for the duck boats to roll by. So we're going to say goodbye for now. We're going to watch you, keep on watching you here on the Jumbotron. So, TC, back to you guys.
All right, so we say hello to everybody at City Hall Plaza. We had a quick pit stop here. Nick Cafardo heading off to other duties. Gordon Eads back from Colorado joining us.
TC, you know, if I'm Morgan, you know, I'm worried about what Mr. Higgins is going to do. You know, it's one thing to skip school. It's another thing to rub the teacher's nose in it. And Morgan's mom, what's with Morgan's mom? Saying a once-in-a-lifetime experience.
It's already been twice in this lifetime.
In 3 years.
Right. Well, we keep saying, you know, take the longer view, it's 2 in 90 years. Everyone's saying 2 in 4 years. So it's been 2 in the last 90 years. And as I've said before, and I know their teachers are Red Sox fans, there are 2 little Karen boys down there missing school today as well. So a lot of kids missing school. And you know what? Tom Menino talked about it. The mayor talked about the fact that was one of the tough decisions. Do they close schools in Boston for the day? The decision was made not to close schools. Schools kept open. Few kids going to miss it today.
Yeah, and you know what? He could have taken the heat off all those kids, TC. You know, he wouldn't have had to make an automatic class of juvenile delinquents. Just give them the day off. Did you see the mayor coming off the stage today at Fenway this morning stumble a little bit while he was carrying that trophy?
Didn't see it.
Absolutely, man. It was. In fact, Tom Warner was saying one of the funniest things for him was seeing. He said whenever he and John Henry carried the trophy, it felt like 100 pounds. And there's David Ortiz, you know,
grabs it by 2 things and holding it up. Yeah, it was pretty impressive yesterday. You saw Tom Warner and John Henry sort of helping each other hold it, and Poppy just grabs it and goes up with it. So the party rolls on here at through the streets of Boston. Tell us about the last couple of days from your perspective. Just the blur. We talked with Nick about so many Red Sox fans out in Colorado, so many fans from outside the city making it to Boston for this celebration today. It has been one of those special weeks where you get to talk to a lot of fans and hear their take on it all.
Yeah, and you know, it was really cool after the game, TC, and I wrote a little bit about it this morning. I mean, it almost looked as if a bouncer had come into Coors Field and said, all right, anybody wearing purple, you're out of here. You know, it's red clothes are required for entry. The great chants that were going on, thank you Red Sox, don't sign A-Rod, and of course the crowd favored re-sign Lowell. But you realize, of course, that this A-Rod situation and the fact that he opted out of his contract with the Yankees is going to have a profound impact, I think, on the Lowell negotiations.
Well, there's no question about it, and I'll pick up where Jerry Remy left off at our post-game show that night. The timing of this, Jerry's words, shame on Scott Boras, trying to upstage essentially the World Series, that coming out in the 7th and 8th inning, and really dominated a good inning of the broadcast of Game 4 of the World Series.
Yeah, and you know, Bob Dupay, the Major League Baseball's chief executive officer, slapped Scott around a little bit in A-Rod yesterday, and Scott did come out and apologize. I'm mystified, frankly. I mean, I have a lot of respect for Scott. I don't know what he was doing stepping on the World Series there, and it's hard for me to believe that he would have done that without at least some tacit green light from A-Rod. So yeah, it wasn't
timing
cool.
Couldn't have been worse. Even if they'd done it earlier in the day, it would have had, you know, run its course a little bit by the time the game started. But you're right. I don't think there's any question A-Rod and Mike Lowell are going to sort of be intertwined here in their offseason exploits as they look at the free agent market.
Well, that's why, Tom, and I think people have to understand, you know, they know that the Red Sox have this exclusive 15-day window to negotiate with Mike Lowell, but I don't think it's going to happen quickly here. You know, they haven't made an offer yet. They may try to get it done within those 15 days, but if you're Mike Lowell, don't you at least go through the process and see what's out there? I mean, especially where Major League Baseball exceeded $6 billion in revenue this season. There's money to be spent, and I think that Mike Lowell has earned the right to see what his market value is.
Well, he said, you know, this is all new to him, this free agency thing, so he's going to enjoy that. But again, the overwhelming, I was down at Fenway this morning, as you were. We've heard the reports along the parade route. Sign Mike Lowell is one of the more popular signs, one of the more popular chants of this entire day.
Yes, and you know something, TC, was something that slipped under the radar a little bit to this point is the fact that Manny Ramirez is going into the last year of his contract.
They have, what, 2 option years?
He's got 2 option years. It's a club option. But if I'm Manny Ramirez and I'm his agent, Greg Gensky and Gene Matos, I want to have a conversation with the Red Sox this winter to see if they're ready to move on those option years. And you know, the latest I've heard from Manny's camp is that Manny wants to retire with the Red Sox. However, we know how fluid things can be with Manny, and you know, he's going to be at an age where it's a tricky decision for the Red Sox to commit to another $20 million per annum, which would take us through what, 2010 season.
Right. Well, plenty of time to talk about that. We've got the offseason ahead of us. Today's the day to celebrate the guys who were in uniform 2007. They're doing that down at City Hall Plaza. Hazel May's down there. Let's go back to her live. Hazel.
Hey, TC, we're back here at City Hall Plaza with all these incredible fans. There's not much happening here because the parade hasn't gotten to us yet, but I gotta tell you, there are literally a sea of Red Sox fans, shoulder to shoulder, jam-packed, chanting, "We love Red Sox, we're number 1," signed Mike Lowell, of course, and everybody's anxiously waiting the duck boats to come by. Now, this is a rolling rally, and the event is billed that way because they're not actually going to stop here. There will be no formal ceremony or event here at City Hall Plaza. We are hoping that Jonathan Papelbon, as promised over at Fenway Park, will once again dance for the thousands that are here. Are we all waiting for Jonathan Papelbon? Now, of course, one of the reasons why there will be no formal event here at City Hall Plaza, at the mayor's news conference yesterday, Commissioner Ed Davis of the Boston Police Department thinking it's probably wise to do that just for the safety of the players, their families, and of course fans. For those of you who were here at City Hall Plaza when the Patriots won the Super Bowl championship, the crowd size and the security issue was just crazy. So that's probably very wise. I know a lot of people here are going to be disappointed, but they are going to slow down, and we are going to see Jonathan dance for us. So that's what's happening right now at City Hall Plaza. Who are you all here to see? You know what, TC, I think I heard 1 or 2 people say Tom Caron and Gordon Eads. Back to you in studio.
Yeah, maybe my kids are out there. I'm not sure.
I was going to say, I expected 20,000 people to say Hazel May.
Hazel May, I guarantee you more than said TC and Gordon Eads. And you know, we've talked about this, and we talked about it with Nick Gordo. The whole idea of the Rolling Rally. In 2004, people kind of looked, you know, at Mayor Menino and what are we thinking here? Why isn't there a celebration? But it really did allow more people to feel they were a part of it. If you just have the parade that ends with the ceremony, the presentation at City Hall Plaza, the parade is almost a sort of letdown. You know, nobody cares about the parade as much as they care about the celebration. So the crunch is in one location. Here, the entire route sees several stops along the way. And outside of the impromptu trip into the Charles River, it couldn't have worked out better that day.
Now, and I'll tell you something, TC, I was at Fenway Park this morning before I headed over here to the studio. And so I got a glimpse of the beginning of the parade, and to hear that level of excitement and enthusiasm, and just seeing people streaming, you know, down every block and alley and street in Kenmore Square to get a glimpse of the Red Sox. I wonder, TC, you know, where does Jonathan Papelbon now rank on the popularity meter in this town? I mean, you've got to start thinking, And the dance is part of it, but I think part of it is the fact that he's delivered. I mean, 10 2/3 scoreless in the postseason. It doesn't get any better than that. But I got an email from a school in Ware, Massachusetts, where all this, which is out in Central Mass. Toward Western Mass, and all the little kids in that second grade class after the ALCS was saying, we want to do the Papelbon dance. I mean, it's become part of the curriculum, and just like in when the years that Nomar was here, you know, the kids were all tugging their gloves and stuff. You know, Irish step dancing is sweeping New England.
Well, the good news is, and I predicted that this would happen tomorrow being Halloween, the good news is I haven't heard a lot about kids wanting to run around with a beer 12-pack over their head doing the dance, because Papelbon is very popular. But there's no question as we go into next year, you know, this closer is going to be amongst, I mean, David Ortiz is still kind of the face of the Boston Red Sox, but you're going to have these developing personalities here of Papelbon, who's just become the young gun that everybody loves, and Josh Beckett, and we've talked about this over recent weeks. You know, you get to that point now where Beckett's going to be in that sort of Pedro aura of you look at the calendar, you look at the schedule and say, okay, I have tickets for this game. Is Beckett going to pitch that day? Beckett is going to be must-see TV.
Yeah, I think from a performance standpoint, you know, Beckett is putting himself in a special class. There's no question. From a personality standpoint, you know, certainly Pedro was far more open a person that people can connect with. And I think Papelbon, I think people love the fact that he's not afraid to be goofy. He's not afraid to speak from the heart, to wear his emotions on the sleeve. Beckett is all, you know, I mean, it's cocky gunslinger.
Well, and that's why I think he gets to that point. Again, it's like a young Roger Clemens. It's like Pedro, in as much as you want to see this guy pitch. You want every fifth day to be somewhere where you can watch him pitch, because he pitches with an edge. He's brash on the mound, and he absolutely dominates hitters. And, you know, remember that with Clemens when he was here, with Pedro Martinez. You know, you knew, every fan knew when his next start was. And the beauty of the closer is, you know, you get this act every night.
And we're watching Paps playing what, a broom? Is that a broom?
Yes,
with the Dropkick Murphys?
Yes.
I mean, he's a piece of work, isn't he? But, you know, the other thing you've got to consider too, TC, looking forward to next season, is while we thought the Daisuke Matsuzaka starts were going to be the event every 5 days, that kind of tapered off as he struggled a little bit in the second half. But I think there's grounds to predict that his second season in Boston next year, he may take that next step up, much like Josh Beckett.
Okay, and this has been an ongoing discussion here, but much like, it's not fair to say he will be a Josh Beckett.
No, I mean, Josh Beckett established himself as one of the top 3 pitchers in baseball this year. But do I think that Matsuzaka will place himself in an elite category? I mean, 200 innings and 200 plus strikeouts in his first full season in the major leagues. I think that's a pretty good harbinger of things to come.
All right, well, you just saw the map that they were taking the turn and heading to Tremont. The Rolling Rally continuing here through the streets of Boston. Tom, Karen Gordon Eads with you here on SNHD Television Center, and Jacoby Ellsbury. We've certainly talked plenty about him. I was making the comment along the way that he was in the hunt for the World Series MVP heading into that 4th game, and I'm guessing it would have been the first time in history that somebody wins the World Series MVP the year before their rookie season.
You know, that's a great piece of trivia, and I don't know if that's the case. I mean, Ellsbury did wind up leading the team in hitting with a .438 average in the World Series, and we saw Bobby Kelty standing next to Jacoby Ellsbury, and let's not forget the local roots for Bobby Kelty. His grandfather was a mail carrier in Fitchburg, Massachusetts for years and years, and his dad, Roger, was a football star at Fitchburg High and then went to Boston University. I mean, has anyone, to me, the Kelty home run was 2007's answer to the Dave Roberts stolen base.
Oh, there you go. Well, I said if anybody would have predicted that Daisuke Matsuzaka and Bobby Kelty would get the game-winning RBI in the final 2 World Series, they should not be wasting their time in Boston. They should live in Vegas because the odds of that had to be astronomical. The trophy is in the hands of Jonathan Papelbon.
And that's a scary thought, TC. He may be passing it out to the crowd here in a minute.
Let's keep tabs on that. Put a GPS tracker on that trophy. Jonathan Papelbon is enjoying the moment, as he does better than just about anyone else. Our coverage of the Rolling Rally continues after this.
Today's coverage is brought to you in part by BigTimeBats.com. For the official Louisville Slugger World Champion bat, go to BigTimeBats.com.
Baffled by a strange disease that stretches the arms of people buying copy paper at office superstores, scientists at the W.B. Mason Institute studying the problem shocked the world by announcing a cure.
Free same-day delivery.
Call 1-888-WB-MASON by 11. Your copy paper will be delivered by 5. Now, a happy ending is well within reach.
Oh, but W.B. Mason.
Struggling with credit card debt? Is it difficult just making your minimum payments? Tired of the harassing calls? If you're in substantial credit card debt and need help, call now and settle your accounts for less than you owe. Call the Hermosa Group today to find out how you can quickly and easily eliminate your debt for less than you owe. Life can be better. Call the Hermosa Group now. Get a low monthly payment that fits your budget. Call now.
So this is football on satellite.
Dude, it's just a little reception problem.
There's no little reception problem in football.
You either catch it or you don't.
Hey, let's watch a game at my place. I got Time Warner cable, it's on, and it's in HD.
Sweet.
Schedule your guaranteed on-time installation today. Get digital cable for only $57.95 per month. Call 1-800-833-2253 today. Another great service delivered over Time Warner Cable's advanced fiber network.
Or campground membership, turn it into cash.
Timeshares Only got us our full asking price before our next monthly payment was due.
Timeshares Only is the nation's largest, #1 most successful timeshare agency, representing properties from the biggest names in the industry.
No one sells more timeshares.
Call now and receive a free information kit, including 10 secrets to timeshares. You owe it to yourself to work with the best.
Don't delay. Call 800-348-0276.
Today's live coverage is brought to you in part by Olympia Sports, your home for all World Series Championship merchandise.
And live coverage continues here at the Rolling Rally. You look at the streets of Boston, the duck boats winding through, and the fans getting their moment to wave to the players and take a look at the staff and players who have brought the World Series trophy back to Boston. We're back here at our SNHD Television Center. Tom, Karen, and Gordon Needs bringing you coverage of this, as it all seems to be going pretty smoothly. They seem to have this down to a science.
You know, TC, I didn't tell you this before we went on the air, but it's kind of like a dream assignment for me. You know, as a kid who grew up watching the Tournament of Roses parade, it's like, I mean, I'm just sorry that I can't say, you know, here comes the Florida A&M marching band, or tell you that it took 430,000 flowers to make the Bank of America float or something.
But you and I would have to be like extras in some new show, some new sitcom appearing on Nesson.
Boy, you're not kidding.
Sitting here promoting that when we're down at the parade. You look at City Hall Plaza, and obviously, you know, I remember the stories from a lot of fans I talked to back in 2004, and the strategy was sort of try to see it one point along the route go by, and then try to double back and get around to City Hall Plaza to catch it again. Might be a little tough today, because a lot of people down there.
Yeah, and you know, I was at the beginning of the parade, as I mentioned earlier, and there were a lot of people, you know, as I was walking to my car to come over here, there were a heck of a lot of people sprinting in the other direction, hoping to catch the float.
Well, I hope they got the word that they're not going in the water. We all remember this last year. And there's the alumni boat, by the way, that we talked about. You see a lot of the great former players. And again, something they have done so well, incorporating the alumni, incorporating the history of the team to be part of certainly the 2004 championship. You remember they would cover that media guide the next year. This was for everyone who ever wore the uniform, everyone who never got a chance to win a World Series championship. Well, now it's only been 4 years since they won it, but they're still keeping that tradition alive of making this World Series win something for everyone who ever was part of the organization.
TC, I did see this morning one of the most elegant and polished members of the Red Sox alumni class. One of, you know, a guy who's an enduring fan favorite, and that was Dom DiMaggio. I'm not sure he made the float. I don't know if you saw him earlier.
We didn't see him. His name was on the Johnny Pesky boat. I'm not sure if he got in the boat with Johnny.
He's not well. He's not well, and you know, our best wishes go out to him and his family, because, I mean, he's epitomized class for so long with the Red Sox, with that old goat, Mr. Pesky, 88 and going strong. How about that?
And we saw him sitting right in that duck boat, waving out to everybody. Mr. Red Sox getting his just deserves from the fans who have really packed it in now. You see the big difference in how thick this crowd has gotten. As that is, you see Dom DiMaggio's name. That is the boat with Johnny Pesky on it. And the boat that Dom DiMaggio would be on if he were out there. But again, not sure. You know, it's tough. We talked to Jerry Remy the other day, who was on one of those duck tour boats in 2004. And once you're on that boat, there's no getting off. There's no escape from that.
No place to go. And I do want to make it clear, TC, when I refer to Johnny as an old goat, that's how I refer to him to his face.
That's right.
It's a term of endearment. You know, we all love Johnny Pesky.
Well, it's one of the great things covering this team. You walk in that clubhouse, and usually the first guy you see sitting right there to the right of the door as you walk in the clubhouse is Johnny Pesky, who is more than happy to talk baseball and share his wisdom and his thoughts over the years. So you can see the sea of humanity now down at City Hall Plaza as the boats are getting closer, making their way through. I guess they've got the coverage up on the big screen and everybody watching, trying to figure out just when these boats are going to come by. But an absolutely special day. And again, I talked about the water trip back in 2004. They were very quick to point out because a couple of fans tried to swim out to the boats, get a little too close to all of that in 04.
Yeah, and I was surprised that on my way into the ballpark today to hear that they weren't going into the water again. Although, you know, you never know. If Big Papi decides he wants to go for a swim, that may still happen. I'm wondering, TC, is given the lack of privacy on these duck boats, when is Paps going to slip on the kilt?
My guess is he's not wearing the kilt today.
You heard him on, on camera.
Well, he said government center, so we'll have to see what happens at the end of all of this. My concern is Jonathan Papelbon will try to get that to go in the water, and that's not a duck boat. That would not float.
No, you're right. And the thing is, when you recall the first night of the step dance that Paps did,
yes.
and you remember toward the end of it, you see Theo emerging out of the scrum and wrapping his arms around him.
Cooler heads prevailing at Fenway Park.
And, you know, maybe for the casual observer, it looks like Theo was showing him the love. That was all about Jonathan. You know, we still have some games to play
time
here.
to shut it down,
Yeah,
Jonathan.
exactly.
There's a time to be cautious. And the second time around after the ALCS, fully clothed in full uniform, a little more under control. But he said he would. He said he was going to dance all night long if they won the World Series, and Beckett said he would dance with him. So we're waiting for that as well.
Well, I don't know if you mentioned it earlier in the broadcast, TC, but Sunday night after winning the World Series, the ball club had a private party at the Palm Restaurant in the hotel where they were staying, and the band Maroon 5 was staying there as well, and they asked if they could crash the party. And they came in and played. And,
is that right?
Yeah, Tom Werner was saying that one of the highlights of the night for him was to have Maroon 5 playing We Are the Champions, and Beckett and Paps and Schill and all the guys singing along with him. Pretty cool moment.
Very cool moment indeed, as this is right now with Jonathan Papelbon still playing the broom and the Dropkick Murphys still playing the music. And it is a sweet serenade for Red Sox Nation. Hazel Mays down there at City Hall Plaza where they're getting close. Hazel?
TC, thank you. I think we see some flashing lights just around the corner here. The parade is just minutes away, and everybody here is so excited. Fans waiting as early as 6 a.m. to catch a glimpse of their world champion Red Sox. TC, I'm just looking at an absolutely jam-packed City Hall Plaza. We've got signs that say, I came from Italy to see the Red Sox win. Grazie. Grazie to you guys for coming. I see another sign that says, Mike, please stay, keep A-Rod away. I guess that's self-explanatory. And I have a young lady here asking Jacoby Ellsbury to marry her. Now, I can't promise you'll be able to see that sign, but I don't think you're the only woman out here that wants to marry Jacoby Ellsbury. What a World Series Mr. Ellsbury has had. Now I'm trying to get a look. Oh, everybody is starting to cheer because the parade is just coming around the corner. As I mentioned earlier, the parade will roll on by. There will be no formal event or ceremony here at City Hall Plaza, just due to the crowd size and the security issue here. The place is already jam-packed. I don't know how anybody can move out here. We've got whistles blowing. We've got everybody straining to see over top of each other. Now, I'm sorry, TC. I'm trying to get around Christian, our photog here, who is trying to get a shot of just how crowded it is right here. We have chants of, well, your derogatory Yankee chants. But everybody is here is just jumping and waving in anticipation. Okay, TC, you know what? We're going to throw it back to you in the studio, and as soon as the duck boats come around, we'll talk to you then.
All right, we're listening to Hazel at Government Center, City Hall Plaza. We're watching Jonathan Papelbon and the Dropkick Murphys at Tremont just after the turn. This is one of the stops they said they would make, Boylston, Tremont, and then City Hall Plaza at the end. They're playing, this is off the new CD, by the way, State of Massachusetts, off the Meanest of Times. We'll give the boys their due. Jonathan Papelbon playing the Broom.
TC, could there have been anything better for the career of the Dropkick Murphys than 2 World Series in the span of 3 calendar years?
Clearly, they've got to come out with more CDs more often, because when they come out with a CD, the Red Sox win a World Series, so Ken and the boys have to get right back to work, get into the studio as soon as this is over. Let's give a listen. And there they go, the Dropkick Murphys, Jonathan Papelbon rolling on as they are on Tremont Street heading towards City Hall Plaza.
You know, Tom, it really strikes me that we are witnessing a golden age in Boston sports here. And a striking thing during the postseason was, to me, that the fact that there exists this fraternity among the sports franchises. Terry Francona hearing from Bill Belichick, hearing from Doc Rivers, hearing from Gene DiFilippo, you know, and responding in kind. Tito stays up late at night to watch Celtics West Coast games. I mean, that's how much of a fan he is. And Scott Pioli, of course, the VP player personnel for the Patriots, being such a close friend and all. And there's almost this shared sense of accomplishment by the various teams.
Jonathan Papelbon read off the starting lineup for Boston College on the ESPN broadcast last week before the game against Virginia Tech. And again, I said this earlier, give the Boston Bruins their due. The Dropkick Murphys' first foray into sports. They were very big Boston Bruins fans, and they were the band for Boston Bruins games and their fans years ago before the lockout. And now moving on to not only playing at the Garden for the Bruins, but now playing throughout the streets of Boston in the Red Sox championship. And you can see they're on the home stretch now, heading towards City Hall Plaza. But there is certainly no better time to be a Boston Red Sox fan, as we said earlier, to be a Boston sports fan, as we said earlier. Boston College #2, Patriots 8-0. The Bruins quietly right now playing very good hockey and playing the kind of physical hockey that fans have wanted for a long time. Celtics about to get going with the additions of Ray Allen and, of course, the big man, Kevin Garnett, the big ticket, and the Red Sox with another World Series trophy.
TC, did we just see Manny Ramirez with a microphone in hand?
Yes.
I'd love to know what he was saying. I mean, that was one of the
said it don't matter.
The classic moments in the 04 parade, of course, was Manny holding up the sign, Derek Jeter's gone golfing or something along those lines.
Derek Jeter is golfing, this is better. And there were T-shirts being sold that said that today. Derek Jeter is golfing again, and this is still better, said the T-shirts.
And when you see this massive humanity that has gathered to celebrate this World Series, you really, you wonder how much bigger can Red Sox Nation become. I mean, they've got this string of consecutive sellouts. It's the second longest in baseball history. You've got the kind of attention Nesson has garnered through this whole postseason run. I mean, where does it go from here? And you see it, Tom, like nowhere else when we're on the road, when the Red Sox are playing on the road, and you see thousands upon thousands of Red Sox fans at every stop along the way.
Well, the interesting thing, and this has been a topic of conversation for a bit now, there was that popular belief that after 04, it wouldn't matter to fans anymore. The passion would be gone. They were just another team now that they didn't have an 86-year quest to talk about.
You know, TC, call this what you want, but I think I do see a little bit of passion on the streets of Boston this afternoon.
Throughout this entire postseason run, you could make the argument there was even more passion than there was at the start of the 04 run. Back then, it was about trying to finally beat the Yankees, trying to finally beat the World Series championship. I think one of the things we'll look back on in this postseason run is that they didn't have to play the Yankees. And there was a debate about that at the time. Would it have been better if you had to go through the Yankees? But again, I think without having to face the Yankees, and with this happening so quickly after 2004, this was just about the business of baseball. This was about a very good baseball team that moved in the middle of April, moved into first place, and really went wire to wire with the only true test of character, those 3 elimination games they had to win against the Cleveland Indians. Other than that, they were just a dominant team.
Right, and that was an enormous test of character. When you're down 3-1, and you recall that Larry Lucchino saying at the outset of the playoffs that he'd always felt that the road to a championship had to pass through the Bronx, but he didn't feel that way any longer, and why should he when the 2 best teams in the American League and actually in Major League Baseball were the Boston Red Sox, Cleveland Indians, both having won 96 games during the regular season. That was a true test of a championship team. And one thing about the World Series that I think is worth noting, Tom, is that, you know, mid-September, the Colorado Rockies were a 4th place team. They weren't even on the radar in terms of making a postseason appearance. So in some ways, it was sort of reminiscent of the 1967 Red Sox. And Mike Andrews, the second baseman on that 67 team, was telling me, you know, because we had finished in 9th place the year before, it was almost anticlimactic to get to the World Series. They were heroes either way. And I kind of think that was the case with the Colorado Rockies as well. That, you know, maybe there wasn't this greatest sense of urgency to win the World Series as existed for the Red Sox. I mean, aside from the fact that the Red Sox were clearly a superior team. And even though it was a sweep, I think the Rockies deserved their due. 3 of those 4 games were competitive, Tom.
Okay, we're going to take a break, come back as they roll into Government Center, City Hall Plaza, and the Rolling Rally winds its way through the streets of Boston with a trophy in tow.
Today's coverage is brought to you in part by BigTimeBats.com. For the official Louisville Slugger World Champion bat, go to BigTimeBats.com.
I had a friend ask me if I could do anything on earth, what would I do? I'd become an automotive technician. My name is Jeremy H. Jeffers. I'm currently an automotive technician working at Advanced Automotive Center in Newton, Massachusetts. All of a sudden I said, geez, I can go to a school and I can actually learn this stuff. UTI, when I explored all the options out there, absolutely looked like the best school with their credentials, their manufacturer relationships, and their locations.
Be your own success story. Choose UTI, Norwood, Mass. UTI is the industry's choice for automotive technician training.
Have you heard about the benefits of a reverse mortgage? If you're a homeowner, 62 years or older, and would like to supplement your monthly income, a reverse mortgage could be the key to living comfortably in retirement. U.S. government-insured reverse mortgages allow seniors to convert the equity in their home into cash without having to move or make monthly loan payments. We offer a free information kit and video explaining everything you need to know about a reverse mortgage.
Call 800-400-6530.
The Bruins are the hub of hockey. The Bruins are on NESN.
Out of the pile, finds Kessel, scores! Throws a shot through, Kessel drives it by! Savard, top of the circle, tries over a shot, looks in front, Kessel scores! Hat-trick for Phil Kessel!
Thursday is New England Hockey Night with Bruins Sabres coverage beginning at 6:30 on NESN. Today's live coverage is brought to you in part by Olympia Sports, your home for all World Series championship merchandise.
All right, our coverage continues. Kurt Schilling, Tim Wakefield taking it all in, and the two veterans of this starting rotation. Plenty of questions around who will be back in this rotation. We all know Kurt Schilling, a free agent. He has been well documented in his professing to want to return. Tim Wakefield, I think there was never any question about his future with the team, although with that shoulder now there are some questions about what the long-term ramifications could be.
The thing is, TC, Wakefield represents such a bargain, particularly in today's market. I mean, he's got that rolling option. It's only for $4 million. I fully expect the Red Sox to exercise that option. He's due to go get an arthrogram to check the damage in the back of his right shoulder. You know, he's had a lot of inflammation there. That's why he had to shut it down and miss the World Series start. I talked to Wake this morning. He hasn't made the doctor's appointment yet, but he expects to in the next week or so, and he's convinced that there's no structural damage there. I think Wake is coming back. Schill, I know you were here in studio, Tom. You probably didn't get to hear his Kurt from the car radio interview this morning. But, you know, he talked about things like having written letters to teammates and that there's a 50-50 chance that he's coming back, and that he said goodbye to a lot of people and all. And I think it's very much an open question of whether he comes back here. In a limited free agent market for starting pitchers, he has a chance to do fairly well, and I'm not certain that the Red Sox, I mean, let's face it, he had to shut it down for what, 6 weeks to 8 weeks just to get in a position to perform the way he did. But I mean, he's at a point in his career now where he's a 5-inning, 6-inning pitcher, a very good one. I mean, he came up big in this postseason.
And if you want to look, if you're Kurt Schilling and you are going to leave the Red Sox, he has said he wants to stay for 1 year. If you're going to leave the Red Sox, why not go to the National League, where you can probably rack up more wins, go a little deeper into games, and maybe get closer to knocking on that Hall of Fame door with a win total. Well,
and if there's a National League team that's already shown an inclination to sign aging pitchers, it's the New York Mets, and they just lost one, Tommy Glavine, when he decided not to pick up his player option. I think the Mets are a team that you have to look at. I wouldn't be shocked to see Schill return to his Philadelphia.
They've already professed interest as well, and I've said all along, let him go to Washington. He can warm up to actually move to Washington when he becomes a senator or congressman. All right, let's go to Hazel May down at City Hall Plaza as they're pulling closer. So, Hazel.
TC, they have arrived. The 2007 World Champion Boston Red Sox are passing through City Hall Plaza. I'm hearing chants of, "Thank you, Red Sox. We love you, Red Sox." We had a huge ovation for General Manager Theo Epstein as his duck boat rolled by. Of course, ownership leading the way as the very first duck boat. We're going to pan over to our left here. as we see more duck boats coming around the bend. Still waiting for Jonathan Papelbon. We saw Tim Wakefield pass by, Eric Hinsky, Kevin Youkilis, accompanied by the usual chant of Uke. Dustin Pedroia just passed by our spot. And remember, Don Orsillo would always say Fenway was in a frenzy. Well, I can tell you that City Hall Plaza, there's just pandemonium here at the plaza. The duck boats have come to a halt here, and we're trying to figure out what the holdup is. We've got a couple of brooms spotted on one of the flatbeds coming around the corner. It is absolute bedlam here as the duck boats roll right on by. Well, TC, as the rest of the boats come around the corner, as they roll by our position and go straight back to Fenway Park, I'm going to let you guys take a look at the sights and sounds here at City Hall Plaza.
Thank you, Hazel. I'm not sure that we're looking at City Hall Plaza right now, but we are looking at Jonathan Papelbon donning the kilt as promised. So he is ready to rock out with that broom, as no one has ever rocked out with a broom.
TC, do you always wear a belt with a kilt?
I wasn't aware of that, but you know, there's a lot of modern technology now that goes into that.
But again, you know, he walks the talk, and is there anybody having a better time? And it's at Okajie next to him, right?
Okajima next to him?
Absolutely, with Jeff Yamaguchi, Okaji's translator. Okajie loving life right now, and
why not? I mean, you're talking, there's the 1-2 punch right there. That is, we've said it, and Jerry Remy said it throughout this postseason. The one guy who made this bullpen work. I mean, you had the lights out closer at the end, but a lot of the guesswork, a lot of the matching work was taken out of the hands of Terry Francona, because you could just throw this guy out there for an inning to 2 innings and he'd get you to the ninth.
You know, and they're not on one of these duck boats, Tom, Karen, but Craig Shipley and John Diebel, the guys who did the scouting and ultimately wound up bringing both Daisuke Matsuzaka and Hideki Okajima to the Red Sox deserve a tremendous amount of credit. And you're just wondering, you know, they're over there now. I think the Japan series is still going on. You wonder just who they may have up their sleeves for this coming winter. A top Japanese pitcher was in Denver, Kuroda, I believe. If I'm butchering the name, don't kill me with the emails. But he was there. He has a chance to become a free agent. He expressed a great deal of interest after seeing what's going on. And look at Paps in the kilt. It's kind of hard to imagine Yaz or Gentleman Jim Lomborg in a kilt.
Well, you know, they just might have if they had the chance to celebrate a World Series championship. But this is something special and something that fans have been looking forward to for a long, long time. Is that City Hall Plaza right now? Is that where this is? So they are at City Hall Plaza here at the end of the line. And this is what Jonathan Papelbon promised, that he would don the kilt and do the dance and lead Red Sox Nation into one last musical go-round.
You know, seeing Okajie up on the stage there, I don't think we're going to see him as a contestant on Dancing with the Stars. It looks like the rhythm on that duck boat belongs to Paps. Okajie can't quite lend him the insistence in that vein as like he did when they're between the baselines.
It was indeed a clean sweep of the Colorado Rockies. Not sure if that broom made it back from Coors Field, but somebody had it out there today, and Jonathan Papelbon has turned it into the lead broom with the Dropkick Murphys. As the music plays on, they have stopped one more time to play for Red Sox Nation as the 2007 Rolling Rally has been winding down. And
I think we catch a glimpse here of Mike Timlin's son, Jake, standing behind Paps, and what a thrill that's got to be for him.
And he's been out there at center field, a great kid. You see him out shagging flies before every game, gets to soak up all the atmosphere and be around his father. Let's go back down Hazel Mays in the middle of it all at City Hall Plaza.
TC, we got the Dropkick Murphys right in front of us performing Tessie. On board their flatbed truck, of course, Jonathan Papelbon, using a broom as a guitar. Now, I think everybody is still waiting to see if Jonathan will dance the Red Sox jig for everybody here at City Hall Plaza. On the flatbed truck with Jonathan, Hideki Okajima. I'm sure he's getting a big kick out of this. And the flatbed now rolling by our location. Jonathan, it looks like he's trying to get everybody assembled. Let's listen in. belting that home run in Game 4 of the World Series. Bobby Kelty, released from the Oakland A's earlier this season. Who knew this guy would come into Boston and leave town with a World Series title? I can tell you, nobody is moving a muscle. Everybody's staying put, waiting for the rest of the players to come by. But boy, what a performance from Jonathan Papelbon, bringing the house down here. And how lucky for all the people by the windows of the office building right next to the street who had front row seats to the performance. J.D. Drew, Coco Crisp, Jacoby Ellsbury accompanying Bobby Kelty. And coming up right behind that duck boat, let's see if we can get a look here. Oh, of course, Big Papi, Manny Ramirez, Royce Clayton, and Julian Tavares. Julian not able to see any time during the postseason, but a big part of the cheering squad in the dugout for these Red Sox. The captain of the Red Sox coming by now. He's got his video camera going, as do quite a number of players here. The captain getting a huge applause. Really, Jason Varitek, the anchor of this very successful Red Sox pitching staff. Here we go, the guy everybody's been chanting about, Mike Lowell. Mike Lowell, accompanied by Alex Cora and Julio Lugo. And you got to give props to the Red Sox front office and Wally, who always makes the rounds at various charity events and at Fenway Park. Wally's always a crowd pleaser. Wow, this is the place to be. City Hall Plaza. Dropkick Murphys performing Tessie. Dirty Water shipping up to Boston.
All right, that was Hazel May down at City Hall Plaza. You can see the parade at City Hall now. The Rolling Rally has rolled on, and the performance from the Dropkick Murphys with Jonathan Papelbon, I think it lived up to the billing.
I think so too, TC. I mean, for me, it fell somewhere in between Tom Cruise and Risky Business and Belushi and the food fight in Animal House. But in terms of a spontaneous, unrehearsed, full of life moment, I think it's going to be a singular achievement in Boston sports history.
Not sure who's up there. You see Don and Tina, Don Orsillo, Tina Cervasio. They're not the ones with the caps. That's lefty and righty. They're the ones over to the corner there. Actually, Tina is wearing a cap. And a lot of the front office, again, we've pointed out a couple of times here, that they brought duck boats for everyone in the front office so that they could all be a part of this. Anyone who works for the team wanted to get out there and be in the middle of all this, got the opportunity.
Well, and the great thing about that too, TC, is they extended that same opportunity to their full-time front office employees. They brought them all out to Denver to witness the World Series.
Yeah, I had a separate charter flight, flew everybody out there, brought them all back yesterday. And you know, last time around, that trophy made the visit to 380 cities and towns. Not sure what there will be in store, but the half dozen people who didn't get a chance to get their picture taken with the trophy might get another crack this time around.
And again, I think I heard you allude to it earlier in the broadcast. You know, that the championship in 2004, a lot of people said this was for our grandfathers, our fathers. This one now is for us, and maybe the next one. And you know, as hard, I think people have to remember and realize how difficult it is to run the table and go all the way. But there's no question that this club has set itself up for another October run in the very near future.
I'm not sure what we have there. I think we got more of the front office and some picture-taking opportunities.
Did Kevin Millar slip into one of these posts? Would anybody be surprised if they saw Millar?
He might be the Grand Marshal up front right now, yelling "Cowboy up" like he did before the pivotal Game 5 of the American League Championship Series. We're going to take a break and come back as the Rolling Rally rolls on towards the end of the route at City Hall Plaza.
Today's coverage is brought to you in part by BigTimeBats.com. For the official Louisville Slugger World Champion bat, go to BigTimeBats.com.
I love electronics. That's what triggered my decision to go to ITT Tech. Back then, people thought that it wasn't a woman's field, so I definitely had to prove myself. It's a very challenging field, and I love to prove that women can definitely do this.
We are educators helping people build a foundation for the rest of their lives. ITT Technical Institute, education for the future. To find out more, call 1-800-ITT-TECH or visit us on the web.
The Bruins are the hub of hockey. The Bruins are on message.
Looking for a change of scenery, the chance to see the country, and to meet new people? Northeast Technical Institute can give you the skills you need to earn your commercial driver's license, an important step for anyone interested in professional truck driving. At Northeast Technical Institute, you'll get the hands-on training that can start you down the road to a whole new life. Call Northeast Technical Institute right now at 1-800-447-1151. That's 1-800-447-1151.
This is football on satellite. Dude, it's just a little reception problem.
There's no little reception problem in football.
You either catch it or you don't.
Hey, let's watch a game at my place. I got Time Warner cable, it's on, and it's in HD.
Sweet.
Schedule your guaranteed on-time installation today. Get digital cable for only $57.95 per month. Call 1-800-833-2253 today. Another great service delivered over Time Warner Cable's advanced fiber network.
Today's live coverage is brought to you in part by Olympia Sports, your home for all World Series Championship merchandise.
Take a look at the, looks like the end of the line here. The Rolling Rally has reached its conclusion through City Hall. They will make their final address and make their final statements and their final words to the crowd. Just a glorious day in Boston. And again, you know, I forget who said at the beginning of all of this, we were back at Fenway Park at the start of the day, but they're like different flavors of ice cream. You love them both, but you can't compare them. 2004 will always be special, but this one will always be remembered for the way this team just dominated baseball.
Well, and Theo offered a variation on the same theme, Tom, when he said it's like comparing your children. If that's impossible to do as well. And speaking of children, there are a couple of notable Red Sox players who are in a family way that we should mention, or I should say their wives are in a family way. Daisuke Matsuzaka and his wife Tomoyo announced in the last day or so that they're expecting their second child in March, and J.D. Drew, who dealt with a pretty serious family drama this summer with his young son Jack having the surgery on his hips. His wife is due very soon, in the next couple of weeks. So the Red Sox nation expanding by at least two.
from here, obviously the celebration goes throughout the offseason, but not much of an offseason baseball now. GM meetings coming up, winter meetings coming up. The Yankee manager announcement coming in the next day or so, talking to LA. That Grady Little may be out. They're going to look for Joe Torre. Things happen pretty quickly here. The offseason doesn't last long.
Yeah, and you know something, TC? I'm actually shocked at how quickly things have already started. I mean, the Detroit Tigers already made a big trade, acquiring Edgar Renteria, the former Sox shortstop, from the Atlanta Braves. As you mentioned, Girardi being announced as the Yankee manager, and we're waiting to see if Joe Torre becomes manager of the Los Angeles Dodgers. And the A-Rod saga is going to hang over this this offseason. I think one team that hasn't been mentioned in the Rodriguez sweepstakes, Chicago White Sox. Keep an eye on the Chicago White Sox. I think Jerry Reinsdorf is prepared to make a major push here.
You know, and the White Sox were a team that won their World Series, and then we talked a lot about the extra innings, that extra month of baseball taking its toll. Happened to the Red Sox after 04. Is that a concern going into 08 for Boston?
I don't think so, Tom. I think, and I mean, it happened to the Red Sox in 04 with Keith Folk. I mean, throwing those 100 pitches in the span of 3 days in the Yankee series, he definitely paid a price for it. But Terry Francona and John Farrell did such a fantastic job of managing the usage of Jonathan Papelbon and Hideki Okajima that they had some fuel left in the tank at the end. I mean, they were dangerously close to being out of gas. I mean, I think Okajima was pretty spent by game 4 in Paps. I have never seen a guy so exhausted. I mean, maybe it was emotional.
You saw him. You saw him talking on the field in the press conference. Everything. He was absolutely out of gas. And I'll ask you one last time, Curt Schilling. What's your gut tell you? Is he back or not?
I would say no.
And so we look back on a championship day here and the legacy he brought. He's the guy they went out along with Keith Folk and got after losing Game 7 to the Yankees in 2003. Led him to 2 championships now. Was certainly a big part of this October in 07.
And you know, Tom, I mean, let's be clear. The man delivered. He promised at the time he was signed on that famous Thanksgiving, the greatest holiday of his life, he said, that he would bring a World Series, and he brought 2.
Well, this is essentially a holiday in Boston, and it's about to wrap up here. As you can see, the fans heading out after the duck boats have come and gone. You know, what was that popular T-shirt back in 2004? Now I can die in peace. Well, we hope you didn't, because you missed this. This is pretty good to be around for the second time as well.
And, you know, like the little boy's mother there said, well, it's a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Don't be so sure. This team, Theo Epstein, had an eye on the future. That's why he let some of the stars of 04 go, and it's paid off in a dramatic fashion.
Well, Gordon, it's been fun, and we thank you for watching. For Gordon Eads, Nick Gafardo, Don Orsillo, Tina Cervasio, Hazel May, Catherine Tappan, and each and every one of the hard-working crew here at Nesson, who we don't talk about enough. We thank you for watching our coverage of the Rolling Rally. Second time, just as sweet. Enjoy a championship, Red Sox Nation.
It's amazing how much more people with higher levels of education earn. It can mean millions